All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Market Prep. I hope you guys are having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Peter. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Carlos. I'm feeling pretty good this morning. It's still unfortunately cold out there. Went for another run this morning,
man.
And I'm like, is it February or is it April? What is happening? I know that's disappointing. But other than the weather, I was admittedly on my run. I was contemplating the markets, and I'm like, what? I'm still in like a little bit of shell shock after what happened yesterday. That was just insanity. And
yeah.
I don't know. It was weird. It was so weird, especially when you look back and you see sort of the history of the news where on Truth Social, Trump tweeted at 9:38 or something in the morning. Good time to buy. And actually, if you go back and if you look in more detail at the market yesterday, apparently, I guess we need to be following social media because the market that's when it had its first little bump. I mean, it wasn't huge, but it did sort of spur things a little higher. Right at 9:38, you can see a bump higher, although it retraced. And then, and of course, we all know now. By now, I trust everybody knows by now. Maybe I shouldn't assume anything. Yesterday afternoon. Remember like 2 days ago when there was that big bump and drop in the market when a White House insider suggested there was going to be a 90-day delay on the tariffs, and the White House came out very quickly and said, no, fake news.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, apparently not so fake. So anyways, the White House announced a 90-day delay on tariffs for most countries. Not all, but most of the countries that were on that list. Of course, China, they doubled down and announced significantly more tariffs on China. The Mexico, Canada seem to be handling in a separate process. So it's just, I mean, it's amazing, right? Look, the markets are a very small part of this picture, right? I mean, that's what we watch because that's what we are trading against. But the reality is, tariffs are not about the market, and the market is only, ancillary. Geez, now I've got words that I can't say. In the chat room, over the last 24 hours, everybody's trying to say reminiscences, and I'm not sure why that is. But Jared and John are really struggling with the word reminiscences. Anyways, I don't seem to have a problem with that, but ancillary, apparently, I've got a problem with. Anyways, but yeah, so it's as I've sort of used the analogy, it's really the tail of the dog of the markets, right? So it's not the dog. So, but look, who knows what today's going to bring, right? Like, sort of a record. I mean, it wasn't like top 10, but it was still like a massive market upswing and increase yesterday. Today we're moving down slightly so far. So we'll see what happens. Markets are down about 2.5% this morning. But let's after the big move that we had yesterday, this is like the normal type of pullback that you would expect to see on the markets after that type of move. We do have some economic data this morning I should talk about. Came out a couple minutes ago, of course. It almost feels like the economic data we used to look at for market movement, it's so boring now, right? Because it's so small in a relative move compared to tariff news. But anyways, we still can't ignore it. Jobless claims came out, both initial and continuing. You can see both came out pretty much exactly on target. In fact, initial right on target, continuing slightly lower than expected. CPI numbers came out. They are, again, surrounding the numbers. Actually, quite a surprise a little bit that the early numbers on the CPI are lower. So that means that, core CPI, this is the price of goods, declined by 0.1% in the month of March, at least by early estimates. Interesting, right? Not what everybody was predicting. So I'm not sure what that means, but maybe it means this whole tariff thing is working. Seems counterintuitive, but I don't know. All right. Anyways, CPI year over year, only 2.4% growth versus 2.5. So, well, that's true. As Craig already said, it's old data. Exactly. That's why you got to be careful with this type of stuff. Typically, this was the stuff that moved the market, right? But now nobody knows what to do with it because things are moving a lot faster than the traditional measurement methods can actually track. So we got to keep that in mind. What may be interesting, the U.S. federal budget's coming out at 2 o'clock. Sort of a secondary level item for the markets, 2 p.m. today. Yesterday, by the way, we did have 2 p.m. the minutes of the Fed, sort of the Fed discussions come out. Normally those minutes have some market impact. Yesterday, well, of course, because the big news out of the White House came out, the minutes, who cares? Right? So totally ignored.
Push that to the back end.
So, by 2 o'clock today, grab a drink. Maybe it could be interesting, or could be nothing. Anyways, one way or the other. Let's watch the markets. We actually have some earnings that are starting to come out, so I'll talk about a couple of those. And Carlos, we should have talked about this before we got on air. Get your graphics ready because we got one of my favorites, but we'll get there in a few minutes here.
All right, absolutely, friends. Here it is. Our gappers list for today, so a little bit in the green, some stuff pulling back, giving the moves we had yesterday. So still a lot of red today on the screen here. But again, this is coming off some really nice moves. Things are in a better situation than they were 2 days ago, at least as far as the charts, the daily charts. So we'll see if that's going to stick. Right now, things are pulling back, as you're seeing. Also with the SPY, we're down 2.8 after was the biggest move I think someone mentioned since like 2018. I forgot the exact date, so it's a pretty big move for the overall market. Let's see what's gapping up today. The first one on deck is CPRI. Let's take a look here. We're up 5.3, 358,000 shares traded. So you can see here we got a little bit of some action on it. Pre-market doesn't look all that great though, right? We just started to get moving on this one around 820. Again, doesn't look all that exciting, Peter. Light volume for the most part. I'm not sure there's any news that's worth watching on this one.
Yeah, Capri Holdings. This is a luxury goods company out of the UK. It looks like they are selling Prada, and they're selling Prada to what? No, they're selling Versace to Prada. You know what? I don't have any of these goods, nor does my wife. There's none of them in my house. You know what? Anyways. Okay, whatever. So look, Capri is selling Versace to Prada for about $1.4 billion, which means they get to put some cash in the bank. And I guess there's Prada thinks that they can do something valuable with Versace. So, all right, there you go. That's the news. That's why they're jumping up. Probably not going to be a good trading stock. I don't think I've ever even contemplated trading this.
Yeah, I don't see anything good happening there. The stock looks horrible, but anyway, so we'll move on to the next one. All right, here's one, JD.
Own Prada or Versace goods? I'm sure some people do.
It's pretty.
I always remember
big brand. Yeah.
I always remember I had this conversation with someone. This is when I was in Australia because I just bought a really expensive bicycle, and they were very upset about. They're like, what a stupid thing to do. Why would you pay that much for a bicycle? And she was carrying a Versace bag at the time, and I'm like. So I used a whole analogy about, well, why did you get a Versace bag? Like you could buy a knockoff for like $100. Instead, how many thousands did you pay for that? And she went on a whole thing about the stitching and the handmade and the thing and the thing and the whatever. And I'm like, well, that's why I bought my bicycle because it's got this feature and that feature and it's important to me. You don't care, but I do. Just like I could care less about I would sell your bag in a heartbeat to get components for my bicycle. So it's, it's the way it goes. So, anyway,
it's all about the passion you have for it, man. If you have a passion for something, you'll pay whatever. And some people might not understand why the details matter, but they do. They do.
I'm a car guy, and I acknowledge the ridiculousness of vehicles, right? Like, if you look at the cost of a new Porsche, and I'm like, I could literally buy 10 Hyundai Elantras, 10, for the same price. as the Porsche that I want. And 99% of my driving life, they will serve the same function. Arguably, the Hyundai Elantra would be more functional because it's got more storage room, and I could easily fit more people, and it'd be so much more. And I could have 10 of them. I could literally like drive one for a few months and throw it away, and then drive another one, and I'd still be saving money. But
Yeah.
but that's not the point, is it? So
Yeah. Exactly.
anyways, yeah.
Exactly. All right, friends.
I
With
know.
that said,
Everybody's like getting blasphemy. Look, I'm a guy that owns a Porsche, and I can say that. That being said, knock on wood, I will say I've owned my car. I've owned my car for almost for 15 years now, and it's 20 years old. I will still
nice.
say it is the cheapest vehicle I've ever purchased because the value I've got out of it is better than any other car I've ever owned. Cost per mile lower than anything I've ever owned. But anyways,
Yeah. Nice. Um, Back to the gappers list, guys. That's all we got. I mean, JD's on here. It's not really doing anything exciting, as you can see on the daily. It's just gapping up a little bit. As far as volume, we got 625,000 shares traded, but I don't see anything great on this thing here. So I'll leave it alone for now. It does make me think about BABA and some other Chinese tickers, given that we're still going up against China with some tariffs, and that those pauses, at least two. Last time I checked, about an hour ago, right? Things change very fast here. There's been no word on that, right? So we'll see if anything changes. I know China is scheduled to meet with their leaders about stimulus packages, and I'm sure this will be discussed as well, the tariffs. So we'll see how that goes. If that one gets paused, I think you might see some more positive stuff in the overall market. So we just got to pay attention to when that happens, or just look at Trump's social media and see if he gives you any hints of when it's a good time to buy. I'm sure we will miss it the second time. But yeah, based on the gap up list, Peter, that's all we have. Anything you like that might not be showing here?
well, JD was interesting that there was an article produced by Zacks, one of the ratings companies, and analysts that said that it's one of the best priced stocks in the market right now. Now, if you're not really familiar with JD, they do sort of online sales in China, right? I mean, they're not directly affected by all this tariff stuff because they manufacture in China and sell in China. I always look at these things with a large grain of salt because I love how people do the analysis. In this case, they were doing analysis of the price to book. So there's price per earnings, price per sales, to book. You can measure the cost of a company in all sorts of different ways. That's why we don't talk about fundamentals too much. All I care about is it moving and can I make money today, right, between the time the market opens and the market closes. And generally, JD, the answer is no on that one. So anyways, it's cheap. If you like it for a long-term portfolio, maybe you can consider it. Otherwise, yeah, I'm whatever. Moving on.
Yeah. Yeah, let's move on. I don't like it as much here, so it won't be on my list. So nothing so far. As far as moving into before we move to the gap down list, Peter, anything on the gap up?
Gapping up, yes. Get your graphics ready. One of my favorite companies, LOVE. Where am I? There I am. There I am. Lovesack company reported earnings this morning. And you're welcome. Due to my continued sponsorship, they beat their numbers, top and bottom line, and were silent. I don't know. My toes are very disturbing in that. Those aren't actually my toes. I don't know where they got that picture, but anyways, I can't handle that. Somebody, please help. Anyways, all right, there you go.
What is the ticker on this one, Peter? Remind me.
LOVE, love.
LOVE, yes,
Yeah.
love. Here it is.
So,
yeah. Big day yesterday, but I can't give him too much credit for that. It's just overall market stuff. Unfortunately, Peter, this one does not trade very well. It lacks a lot of volume, but yeah, love the ticker name. I won't have it on my list, but I'm sure you probably will, huh?
Well, I don't actually trade it. I just love talking about it. So anyways.
It trades brutal. Prices, volume, and everything is not great, so we'll leave it alone. All right, let's take a look here. So this is the gap down list. Let's start at the top here. We'll look at the maybe top three or so that are leading the way. Then we'll go by sectors because I could see here we have a little bit of some travel companies, CCL. We have tech, of course. Magnificent Seven are on here. AMD Hood is always on the top of the list on this gap, up or down. Today's down. SMCI, usual suspect. MSTR. I know a lot of people have been liking MSTR. I personally, I find it difficult to trade. We'll take a look, see if anything looks good there today. And then again, more Magnificent Seven alongside some Bitcoin type play. So let's run through this, and then you guys get ready to throw some tickers at me to see what you got going on there. STLA, obviously, it's been in play a lot heavily with these tariffs, with the automobiles and all that stuff. They're down this morning, 9.2. My issue with them is that they're very difficult to trade. So take a look at yesterday's action. This is the 5 minute, right? Before we had the incredible pop here. Look at how just choppy they are, and they do it with very little volume. This is around 500,000 or so, and that's a 5 minutes. So if you look at the 1 minute, it's even worse. So for those reasons, we typically just don't have them on our list, Peter.
Yeah, and look, they seem to be on the brunt of this whole tariff thing for vehicle companies. So, like we talked about, they own some traditional U.S. brands. This is a Dutch company, but they own brands from all over the world, including Ram trucks and Jeep and a bunch of others. But anyways, they were taking some hits because they were being attacked that they were running ads that had made in America claims. And people are saying, well, they're not made in America. So they had to change the wording to either say built in America or assembled in America because the Trump was, or I keep saying Trump, but not him personally, of course. It's his administration was leveraging the FTC to come down on companies that are not U.S. based to say they have to be the products must be all or virtually all manufactured in the U.S., which, I don't know how they define that. You obviously have to get into the details, but wouldn't every single car company then have problems, even Ford and GM? Like, the whole point of the discussion that we've had over the last couple of months is the fact that so much of their parts and their assembly, units and some of the most complex parts like transmissions, engines, electronic components, all are built outside of the U.S. Yes, they're assembled in the U.S. in many cases, but they're often built elsewhere. So, it's one of these where now we're going to start, sort of parsing the car apart, I guess, and trying to figure out what is built in the U.S. That being said, there have been some notable cases of car companies really sort of gaming the system. I think of the story of Mercedes, if you remember that from a few years ago, where, when tariffs, which have been in place for a long time, came in stronger, they basically would build a Mercedes in Europe somewhere, disassemble it, ship it to a plant somewhere in, I don't know where it was, Georgia or something, and literally just reassemble it like an IKEA flat pack and say, yes, it was built in the U.S. when it was just reassembled in the U.S. So anyways,
big difference.
You know what? It's just, it's one of those where, look, the devil's always in the details on these things, but it feels like Stellantis, STLA here is sort of on the forefront of this conversation. So yeah, it looks like they're getting punished again today. Look, car companies, not great traders. Bottom line. So, it might be interesting portfolio wise. They might be interesting to look at because, it'll be interesting to see how, I don't know. I don't want to provide long-term investing advice because it gets really tricky, right? Where's the bottom? How low do we go? When are things going to turn? I don't even want to delve there, but for the time being, yeah, it feels risky.
Yeah, it sure does. Again, for day trading, they're just not ideal at all. They just don't get the volume. So we'll leave that one alone for now. STM is a number 2 on their gap down list this morning. By the way, you can get this gap down list over at tradingterminal.com, completely free. Head over there and you can have access to this scanners and many more that come active at the market open. So here's STM. Again, this one, it's been in play a little bit here. We've been getting some movement on the daily, but other things been trading much better. So although they're getting the big gap down today of 7.6 with 244,000 shares traded, there are other things that are going to be gapping as well that are going to just have better volume. So usually I don't end up putting it on the list, Peter. I don't think there's any news besides just the overall market movement today.
Well, I mean, they did announce. So they did announce, and I'll quote out of their press release here: a company-wide program to reshape manufacturing footprint and resize global cost base. Clearly, this thing was not originally written in English. Anyways, uh, so they have announced essentially that they are investing in manufacturing in Europe. So while they're U.S. traded, they are not a U.S. based company. I think they're based in the Netherlands. Yes, they are. So I guess it makes sense for them to focus manufacturing in Europe. But it shows an interesting trend that they're moving out of the Asia Pacific region and they are going to invest in European manufacturing. That maybe is what's contributing to their drop on the U.S. markets, but. It's tough to say. STM is it seems to be a day for stocks that started ST. I'll talk about another one in a little bit. But anyways, STM, not one of my favorite semiconductors to trade on any given day. So I don't think today's going to change that.
Yeah, same here. Moving down to the next one on our list, friends, is going to be Sound. So SoundHound is on deck this morning. These guys are, again, just slightly pulling back here, 4.8, 602,000 shares traded. We had a couple of really great trades a long time ago on this thing, right? This was back in December. They had some good volume. They were always on our list. They traded well, good continuation. But we haven't seen that in a very long time. I don't think today is going to be the day. If they do get any kind of movement, it's probably going to be overall market stuff, and we'll find better stuff to look at.
Yeah, I feel like in all of the tariff talk that we've had and where the focus has been, I feel like somewhere out there, all the AI companies are going, "We're still cool, right? Don't forget about us. Are we still cool? Please." But there is a risk, right? Because when the focus moves like this, often you can get a new hot trend that will come in, right? And it's hard to re-engage on the hot commodities, right? Like the chia pet or the or whatever. I rarely see these trends sort of resurface the same trend again. So AI is at the risk of sort of becoming yesterday's news. Quantum even. Quantum could fall to the wayside in all of this talk, and something new could become the new hot thing. Look, it's tough to say. Never say never, right? I mean, I'm citing historically what has happened, but the whole point of the market is that it's a new market every single day, and something new can happen. So, it's not to say they won't come back. But anyways, SoundHound, yeah, and as an AI company, it's hanging out here. It's actually been relatively resilient, the AI sector, I would say, to a lot of these downturns. Like, look at the SoundHound chart here on the daily that Carlos has got up. Like, it really hasn't dropped as much as some of the others. Like, compare that to Nvidia, which is at the forefront here, or Apple, or even some of the less exciting, like they've really sort of had much bigger whipsaws, right, compared to SoundHound, which has largely been just sort of hanging out, waiting for its turn.
Waiting to see what is next. But yeah, so we'll move on to that one. Wow, so far, guys, nothing on my watch list. This gap has not provided anything great. Let's hop around to travel a little bit. Let's look at CCL and some airlines. CCL is next on here. At the moment, 4.6, not that much volume, so nothing really exciting on it. Again, I think it's just moving with the overall market. We did see great excitement from the airlines, though. CCL always makes me think of the American Airlines, because I remember at one point we were trading both of these very heavily. They were on our watch list almost every single day, and you could trade either one with great volume. And American Airlines, again, also moving with the overall market. They have not been doing so well here over the last couple of days, and again, getting under 9. Almost 850, so it's pretty nice there as far as opportunities, but long-term stuff. But aside from that, I think just overall market move, I don't see anything great. Is there anything with CCL, Peter, that's making it come on our list today, or anything happening there?
The cruise lines and airlines are some of the, they're two industries that most immediately benefit, I guess, or can have their business change based on tariffs, right? Being a service-based business, essentially, it's much easier to sell or not sell seats, berths, whatever, right, on the plane or on a boat, ship, pardon me. Then it is some other products, right, where it gets built more effectively into the back end of the product price, and takes longer to sort of see itself in the pricing. So some of it is perceptive, right? Like, airlines typically, how they move really quickly when fuel prices move, even though, they buy their fuel usually like months or years in advance, right? At sort of fixed rates to avoid large swings, but their stock price still gets affected by the perceptive change in fuel, just like their stock price is going to move based on the change, based on tariffs. So anyways, there was some news yesterday about, hey, the tariffs are, removed mostly to countries that that all the cruise lines will be traveling to. That's good news, right? Therefore, they might see more cruise sales. Who knows if that is actually going to translate or not? Doesn't matter, as long as it makes the stock price move. So today, yes, they're gapping down, but like most things are gapping down.
Yeah, absolutely. Thor is asking for a friend. Maybe you know the answer to this one, Peter. Can you tariff the duty-free shop? I think Thor's planning to go to Miami Airport and just kind of hang out at the duty-free shop and start buying everything he needs there.
You're gonna buy like an international ticket just to be able to get the duty-free?
Yeah, right. Because you do have to get to the international terminal. Yeah, that's how you gonna do that, Thor.
I don't
I don't know if that's how it works, but
I've never figured out how that works, because frankly, every time I've gone to duty free, the prices haven't been that significantly different.
Yeah,
so
it's not that much of a.
I don't. It feels like it's a gimmick, and maybe it seems to me like when I was younger, but I wasn't buying as much alcohol then, I have to admit. So
yeah,
that's something about me. Anyways,
yeah,
but
I see a big difference.
Yeah. It never
I actually
seems that
see
great
more of an inconvenience having to carry the bottle in the plane. I'm like, I'm not dealing with that. Yeah, I don't know.
And then if you have a regional connection, then you got to worry about putting it in your checked baggage, because if you have to go back through security. And I never buy duty free unless I know it's like one flight to my destination. Otherwise, it's just too, like you said, too awkward.
Yeah. All right, friends, let's get back to our list here this morning. Right now, we looked at American Airlines, we looked at CCL. Again, nothing I like so far. So here is Apple. Come on, Apple. Let's make it work here. So here's Apple today. 3.6 million shares traded. We're down 4.1. Obviously moving with the overall market, given the pullback that we're getting. Everything looks like this, at least if your stock is somewhat alive. You got the drop of the last couple of days, the gap up, the sell down yesterday. The Trump infused move here. And it's just now the pull down, right? So that's what everything looks like. You look at Apple, you look at Nvidia. This is what we're seeing here. So I like Apple though. Pre-market looks good.
Yeah, I still like Apple for its independent movement. If you look at the chart from yesterday, Apple continued to demonstrate some separation and independence from the rest of the market. I mean, yes, it popped up when everything popped up, but it retraced almost all of that and then went up again, as opposed to if you look at Tesla or Nvidia or the other charts from yesterday, where they just went up and generally held the levels. So Apple is showing some independence there. Which just makes for good trading opportunities if you're interested in that, which I am. So yeah, like Apple. I saw another fan favorite, PLTR, on the list there, Carlos, gapping down this morning. So it's on the gap down list, like most things, but always getting decent volume. So it's definitely another option.
Yeah, PLTR has been great. And if you look at the intraday on PLTR, what has attracted us to this one is that it's been moving pretty nice. Like, it's getting volume, is trading well. So definitely going to add this one to my list as well. So right now I got Apple. I'm going to add this right over here. I got Apple and I got PLTR. All right, let me stop here. Here's our list. Let's just look around. We do have the Bitcoin stuff, MSTR. I did see Mara down there, so let's take a look at that, and then we can look at more Magnificent 7 in just a second here. But here's Mara. We are down 2.1, 880,000. Again, I haven't really traded these. besides Hood. Hood is the one that we actually been watching more than the other ones, like Coin, and the rest of them have not been great. I know a lot of you guys been looking at MSTR, and if you like the way this thing moves, if you can manage your risk accordingly, it's a great one. I mean, this thing moved what? $60 yesterday, and I'm just rounding. I'm not sure exactly what number it was, but about $60 yesterday. That is a big move for a $200 stock, man. That is insane. Reminds me of our other one, FMTO. Now this is insane, Peter. And we talked about this yesterday. The stock that went from $5 to 11 cents. Look at this here.
And
I mean, that is in a matter of minutes. So that is just wow. Again, just the dangers of trading low flow stock, guys. Be careful. Opened up and it's now at 5 cents going to 0. So careful. But yeah, going back to I never seen anything like it.
Looking at it yesterday, wasn't it?
What was that? Yeah, it was 11 cents.
Cents.
Yeah. Because as soon as the market opened, it's just, I guess it halted a few minutes later at 11 cents. That's where we saw it. Somebody called it out in YouTube chat. They're like, hey, take a look at this. And I'm just like, wow, that is something.
You were talking about Mara and some others. What's interesting is if I look at a chart for a cryptocurrency or Bitcoin specifically, let's see am I able to put this on a screen so that you guys could see it? Let's here's a chart for cryptocurrency. So Bitcoin prices are doing okay today. They're up 81,000, so it's better than they were. And what's interesting is, doesn't this sort of look like this is yesterday? It looks like yesterday's charts, right? For the market, Bitcoin, which is supposed to be completely independent and not related to other assets. And anyways, never mind. But what I just found interesting was look at the time. When would you say this started to move? Probably about here. It started to take off. This is about 45 minutes before the rest of the stock market started to move higher. How does that work? What's going on there? Come on, people. Conspiracy theories. But anyways, all right. Well, anyways, Bitcoin, got a big move up yesterday, starting about 45 minutes before the market, and has held those gains today. So, do that with what you will. I have no idea the cause. I can just notice it's highly suspicious, very suspicious.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a rant, but
it's not a rant. But
anyways,
still get off my lawn.
Put my tinfoil hat on.
Yeah.
They're out to get you.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, man. You just never know. There's just never know. All right. I like Hood. I like Hood as a secondary, so I am gonna put that one on there. That could be interesting, so I'll put it on the list. It's kind of like, reminds me of Baba. You guys remember Baba, when out of nowhere the stock has been moving up? Let me show you here. This stock I think they announced the AI with Apple here, somewhere in this area, but we already had moved up quite nicely with no news whatsoever, no official news. And then Apple announces that they're doing their AI. Alibaba's running their AI in China, and then you get the pop. But I mean, come on, tell me these guys didn't know anything. We went from being dead basically, right, to I'm showing you guys the wrong chart. Excuse me. To being dead to getting this move, and the Apple announcement happened like here. So yeah, there's some funky stuff happening all around. All right, let's take a look. So Hood on my secondary list, gonna add that there, and that's all. I mean, I don't like much today again. So we'll see how it turns out. But Apple, PLTR on the main list, and Hood here. We didn't talk about Tesla. Let's take a look at Tesla this morning. We are basically down 3.3. Again, very similar charts across the board when it comes to this daily. Very similar to what we've been getting as far as the SPY. So I will add Tesla on the list. It's always a fun one. We always get volume. I'm going to add NVIDIA, of course. And again, just a bunch of Max 7 because I don't really like anything else at the moment. So let me see what you guys have for us. But before we get to you guys, start getting those tickers ready in our chat and also on YouTube. Peter, what do you like this morning that we haven't talked about?
Well, I'm not sure that I like them, but a couple I want to highlight. We were talking about car companies earlier. Ford and GM, both gapping down about 4%. Both got downgrades this morning. So outlook for the car industry is is, anyways, according to the analysts, not as good as it was. So both got downgrades. On the earnings front, we did have a couple of earnings. Last night after the close, we had Constellation Brands, STZ, or STZ for all you US citizens, as my daughter would call you. Anyways, so they beat their numbers in the quarter, however, called off their annual guidance, giving an annual forecast much below analyst expectations, citing tariff concerns. Constellation Brands being very multinational in terms of they sell liquor, in case you weren't aware, and liquor around the world. So usually heavy liquor, mixed drinks, all sorts of stuff. So Constellation Brands definitely, I could see that, definitely affected by tariffs. The other one that had earnings this morning was CarMax. KMX also gapping down this morning. KMX had earnings, a little bit of a mixed picture. They beat on revenue, but missed their earnings, under delivering versus analysts. I've seen different numbers. It looks like they delivered somewhere between 58 and 64 cents when analyst expectations were closer to 68 cents a share. So that was disappointing. And they suspended their forecast. Like we heard yesterday when we were talking about Delta Airlines that pulled their guidance, CarMax said, yeah, we're going to suspend our guidance. We just don't know, right? The tariffs are causing a lot of uncertainty, and therefore we're removing all guidance, and we'll have to wait and see what's happening. So that's CarMax. We've been focused a little bit on Carvana, but Carvana and CarMax, I mean, same business, right? So interesting that I feel like Carvana's actually been doing a little better than CarMax. It also is a better trader, frankly. For whatever reason, it just trades a little bit better volume. But anyways, whichever you want, you can look at those. Cars seem to be in the news today. That's what I got in terms of what I like. We already talked about most of them. We haven't talked about Tesla. Speaking of cars, Tesla, good mover, moved with the market yesterday. Pretty relatively quiet today. A couple of jumps at 8 and then 8:30. Interestingly, big spikes here at 8 and 8:30, and then pretty flat price action thereafter. So I don't know. I'm not sure what it's going to do today, but we will see. We will see what happens with it. Carlos, that's about all I got.
All right, awesome. It just seems like the market is more confused than it was before we were dropping. Like this pop has people like, okay, we're going to continue this move. Are we done? Are we going back down?
Right.
Like it seems like this thing just threw off all the technicals of a bearish market that we were kind of in to what's next and is it sustainable? So it feels very weird out there, at least for me. So we'll see. We'll have to be patient.
If you were... if you were in the chat room and one of our members watching it, Jared in Engineering the Markets, he did cover that. And this is, pretty typically in bear markets, you do see these volume-based increases, and some of the most dramatic or biggest increases in history have happened before the bottom, right? So, so if the market is saying, well, geez, if this follows normal trends, we are not yet at the bottom, right? Because normally these punches happen before the bottom. Now, that being said, the drivers here are a little different than a normal big market pullback. So, yeah, Carlos, I think it does create some uncertainty because, if you're a buyer, do you want to buy here? Like, is this a sustainable price that you're comfortable putting your money in, thinking it's going to go higher? Or are you saying, I'm going to wait and see, right? Because I was going to say, use the expression "waiting for the other shoe to drop," but I mean, there's a lot of shoes out there. This is like octopus
this
shoes.
This is a shoe store, baby. We could drop shoes all day long here, left and right.
Shoes from a millipede, right? We got lots of shoes out there. So, anyways, we'll have to see what happens here. But I would be nervous too if I was a long-term investor or if I was, sort of trying to reposition my hedge fund because you don't know exactly what to do. And the uncertainty is the craziest part of this, right? That it's really, there's just such a high degree of market uncertainty that frankly anything could happen. As Jared said this morning, right? We literally have a 50-50 chance. It's a flip of a coin as to whether this market is going to go up or go down. I suppose maybe it's 50-50-50 because we could very well just go sideways too as the market, just wallows in its uncertainty. But anyways, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, friends, let's take a look at what you guys have this morning and see what tickers you like today. Starting over here again, not a lot that I like. Everything just looks like the overall spies to me at the moment. So I'm going to see where the volume comes in. I got a bunch of Max 7s I'm going to be looking at. Let's take a look at DJT this morning. We are up 2%, 700,000 shares traded. So not a whole lot of volume. I always found this stock very difficult to trade, so I usually end up staying away from it. I think there's usually better stuff to trade. But again, same thing on the daily. You got the pop from yesterday. Not much of a pullback. We're still somewhat in the green here. Not sure how long that's going to last, but again, I just always find it difficult to trade. So it could be in play today. One of the few that we ran into that are actually green. If you look at our gappers list, everything is pulling back from yesterday's highs, right? Below that previous day close. So a lot of stuff that we like for the most part in the red. So DJT won't be on my list, but if you like it, definitely put it on there. We did take a look at Baba a little bit here. We didn't actually finalize what we thought about it. So let's take a look at it again. We're up 1.6, 2.5 million shares traded. I don't know, but I do like Baba. It is in the green, which I like. Let's put it on the secondary because it is a ticker that I do like to watch. Didn't treat me well yesterday, but let's see if we can get something out of it today. Tesla, we do have on deck, so that's good. Just checking our YouTube chat, see if we have anything on here. And as I check, just make sure you check off that thumbs up. Make sure that's also checked on your end. So I can see your messages better when you do type when the thumb is a little bit higher. All right, let's see what else we have here. I think that's pretty it. You guys still have a lot of tickers today, huh? I think you're in the same boat, just kind of waiting to see what the market does, and I completely get that. Again, for day trading, not a problem, but I'm looking at some stocks, Peter. I'm like, okay, do I buy here? Do I wait for another dip? Do I add more? So for swing, it's interesting. But for day trading, we just don't want this this choppiness at the market open, and hopefully we don't get that today. Amazon, let's take a look. Amazon, again, another Max 7. Also dropping here 3.1, 1.5 million shares traded. It's one that 2 days ago traded very, very well. Actually, it was one of the best stocks on our list. Unfortunately, I didn't have it on my main list. It was in the secondary, and I missed it. But man, traded very well. Had a nice 5-minute opening range breakup. Today just looks like everything else, to be honest. So I'm not going to add it to my list. But if you guys keep an eye on it, please let me know as we go to the market open. But for me, it'll just be on the sidelines for now. And we'll see. It's got good volume, though. 1.5 million shares traded. So it's got good volume there. All right, we'll stop here, friends. Again, just not a whole lot that I like this morning. NVIDIA, we did look at NVIDIA, and it is on my list. We did look at POTR, and it is on my list as well. Again, just overall Max 7 right now. It's just market. So let's go to our Bearwood Traders website, bearwoodtraders.com. And once you're here, you can log on to the webinars page. Just click on that, and it'll give you what's happening for the next 2 days. So for the next 2 weeks. Here is Thursday. So let's run you through that.
It's a mentorship day. Thursdays are always the day when we answer your questions and focus on the things that you guys want to talk about. So we got a couple of sessions you can take advantage of today, starting at 11 with Lenny, who's going to talk about trend trading. Well, there's a lot of trends going on right now, so that would be a good session to get a feel for what Lenny's looking at and how he's managing the trends. Then if you want to talk options, you can join Jared at noon. Last week we did this, I think, right in the main room. This week it should be back in the webinar room, and that's for our elite members. You can join him there. And then, of course, tonight we have Thor's vaunted and ever sought after mentorship session happening tonight at 8 p.m. So those are our 3 sessions for today, 11, noon, and 8 p.m. So should be good. Hopefully you'll join. Those are all for our elite members. How do you become an elite member if you're not? Well, you go to bearbulltraders.com, where you take a look at our membership options right at the bottom of the page, and you take advantage of all the deals there, from the basic right through the platinum deal. The platinum course is the best deal. It is significantly discounted because you get pretty much everything. You get full elite access to the chat room for a year. You get the boot camp, which is a 3-month intensive camp, by the way. And you probably heard me talking about it if you've been here for the last few days. But it is a great camp. Our next one is starting soon in May. First week of May is when that starts. And then we have another one in September. So if you're not ready to join for May, join with this deal now while you can get the price, and you could start in September. But it's a great deal. You can, by the way, if you start the boot camp in September, you could start that platinum, the elite membership with Variable Traders whenever you want. So you could start that right away, for example, right? Join us and sort of get comfortable in the chat room for the next couple of months, and then start your boot camp in September if you want. But if you want to join and start in May because you're ready to go, this is a great market to learn to trade in. It really is, because it'll teach you how to manage all sorts of different market cycles. I mean, let's face it, we're getting bullish and bearish markets in the same day, let alone, in different days or weeks. So you really, it's a great time to sort of get to understand the markets, understand yourself, and how you can take advantage of these moves every single day. And we certainly had a lot of members that did that yesterday. So consider it. It's a great deal. And if you're on a different membership option, you can upgrade and take advantage of this. So there you go. Hopefully you'll check it out. All right. The other thing I guess I should mention, do I need to promote? By the way, go to Lovesack. Lovesack is your place for your executive beanbag chairs. All the stars use them. Lovesack. Buy one today. No, I wish I had a promotion deal from them. I don't. But
25% off.
It's not you. It's us. What's happening?
Oh,
you just,
okay.
Anyways.
Did I click on the wrong Lovesack? I hope I didn't click on the wrong Lovesack.
I don't know.
Here.
Yeah, be careful.
This could go south very quickly, friends.
Yeah, you may
kids.
want to be double checking that before you splash it on the screen. You never know.
Yeah, let me be back after this. Hold on a second. Let me block it here and check what is actually happening. Get the sensors ready. All right, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. Anyways, all fun and games, guys. All right, let's get ready for the open. We got about 11 and a half minutes until the market opened today. Hopefully our traders are starting, or our moderators, starting to get their lists in. So Carlos, we can take a look at those. But we need to set some levels first. So let's do that.
Yeah, let's do some levels as we turn off this site here. And I can only imagine what kind of ads I'm going to be getting next. After searching that on my
cookies you're collecting.
Oh, my cookies are gonna be a mess. All right, friends, let's get some levels in here. So we have right now on my list. Let's take a look. Where did I put my list? Apple. So we'll look at Apple first. Again, a lot of the Max 7 stuff and just kind of the overall market is what I'll be looking at. So let's take a look at Apple first. This morning, again, looking similar to the SPY. High of the pre-market after pulling back a little bit from yesterday's highs. It's going to be 195.46, and then towards the bottom here, 189.53. We'll slam one there. If you look at the daily, you're pretty much surrounded towards the top with some pretty good levels. Great area of resistance here on the previous day close and highs from yesterday. So towards the bottom below that, we're going to mark down 180.74. Midpoint area. Again, this is not a major level at all, but we got a day open closing right around this area, so I want to mark it down just in case there's something happening there. Below that, highs and lows for the last 2 trading days, given the big move that we had recently. So let's take a look on how that's going to play out. We haven't been down here in a long time. A lot of stocks hitting their 52-week low here. Oh, actually, look at that. See, I put 80.74 there. And that actually is a spot going back to May, right? So there's a little bit of reaction, or at least touches to that on the daily. So that's Apple. Next on the list is going to be PLTR. I know it's one that gets the volume, and people do like this one quite a bit. Actually, it's had a big day yesterday, but it's kind of looking pretty nice on the daily. Had 2 really big days here pushing it upwards. This morning high of the pre-market is pretty much where your previous day close is, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. I do like where the price action is right now. You see this red line across the board here on 88.88. If we put a line there, you can see there are some touches and changes in direction. I do like that there when we do that at a level. That just makes the level a lot stronger. So I'm going to mark that down. And you can see pre-market too. We've been flirting a lot with that level as well. Once you look at the bigger picture, we're pretty much surrounded by the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. Plus, some of them are covering the low of the pre-market already. So I think you're good there. Towards the top, let's get one level in case we do get going. 96.32, and then above that, 98.26. Next one on here is going to be for me Tesla, right? One that we love to watch. 7.1 million shares traded, so we got some decent volume on this one right now. Low of the pre-market is down at 257.52, so we'll slam one there, and then over to the top we're going to slam another one at 269.51. So there it is as far as the highs and lows for the pre-market. Also, highs and lows for the last two trading days are doing a good job. They're surrounding the price action. You got a lot going on here. Big level of resistance coming up here on the previous day close. So that's looking good there. And then towards the bottom, let's see here, right here, 243.48. It's a good one as well. And then all the way down here, another one, 234.22. So some pretty good, decent levels, especially towards the bottom. We got a lot of support happening down there, so that could be interesting. Last but not least on my list is going to be NVIDIA. Again, just heavily on a lot of the Max 7s, and we'll take a look on where the volume comes this morning. And if you actually have something that looks good that I don't have on my list, point it out, because I'll be looking for other ideas as well this morning. 113 is the high of the pre-market on NVIDIA, and then we also have 109.01 is the low of the pre-market. Then towards the bottom, you're surrounded by the highs and lows of the last two trading days there. And then towards the top, let's see what we're going to have here. We're going to have 117.91, and then all the way up here, we're going to have 121.22 for NVIDIA. So pretty set there as far as that goes. Check level 2 on NVIDIA. What's going on with level 2 on NVIDIA? I don't see anything. Did something happen? I don't see anything happening right now on level 2 for NVIDIA, but we're down 3.4, 17 million shares traded. What do you want me to catch here? Like, oh, maybe it disappeared. I don't see it now anymore.
I don't
the stack.
see anything going on either, so I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe it changed. Maybe it changed. I don't see big orders. Big orders? I don't see them. Looking at my level 2, I don't see anything huge on there.
All right, we're heading
All right,
towards the
let's
open
get
here.
to our moderators list. I see Brian's got his in, and the rest of the gang there.
Yep. We got some moderators listen. I'll let you know what they're trading right now. So starting with Thor, who's watching AMD, NVIDIA, and Tesla. Nathan's going to be watching the Magnificent 7 and AMD. Mike is going to be watching AMD, NVIDIA, and the scanners. People are putting AMD on their list today. Interesting. Lenny's NVIDIA, Tesla, Apple, Meta, and XPEV. Brendan is going to be watching Apple, NVIDIA, AMD, and Tesla. I've got Apple, Tesla, and NVIDIA, and of course, Lovesack. No, I'm just kidding, but still fun. Megan is going to be watching NVIDIA and Amazon. Pierre is going to be watching NVIDIA, Tesla, Apple, and PLTR. John's just going to be waiting for a tweet that gives him a $20 move on the SPY. So good luck with that. I've got a couple of IPOs to let you know about, the most interesting of which is MB, which is Master Beef, which is apparently a Taiwanese hot pot and Taiwanese barbecue company. I don't know how that's going to trade, but might be interesting. I'll let you know when it opens. Brian is going to be watching NVIDIA, Tesla, Google, CarMax, PLTR, and the SPY overall. And I think last but not least here, Phil's going to be watching NVIDIA, Tesla, Amazon, and Tesla again. Well, that threw me off. Oh, not last. Paris, Tesla, of course. NVIDIA, Apple, PLTR, and Bubba, and Andrew just beating the buzzer, coming in with his list, watching Tesla, NVIDIA, PLTR, and Truth Social Media. Yeah, makes sense after yesterday when we got advance notice to market moves happening there. I guess I admit I never have even looked at that, so I don't even know.
I gotta create an account. I mean, you gotta create an account.
Yeah, just so we can make sure we're on top of the markets. Well, the room will tell us, I'm sure. So let us know, chat room. And yeah, guys, we're just under 5 minutes away from the open here. So whatever you do, trade smart. Again, could be an interesting day. Who knows, right? We might very likely could have an inside day here. It was such a big day yesterday. It'll be very easy to be inside that and still have some great moves. So just whatever you do, take it cautious as always. And we'll keep trading with you here live on YouTube and in the chat room. Have fun.
All right, we'll disconnect from chat here and continue right on YouTube as Andrew and Brian get all set up to go live in the chat room. Guys, if you want to see them trading live, oh, hold on. Let me mute Andrew. If you guys want to see Andrew and Brian trading live, you can head over to bearwithtraders.com, and there's also a link there that will get you access for about a week for like, I think, $19 or something like that. So you get access to the chat room, plus you get access to some educational content. All right, let's set up our screen. 4 minutes to the market open. We're gonna go 1 minute here. We're gonna go 5 minutes, and get this rocking and rolling today. Okay, Let's move this over. We'll bring in some changes. Looking forward to it. Should be an interesting day. I have traded this week, Peter. I've been counting my trades. I got 5 trades this weekend. I mean, this week. No, 4 actually.
More than
None on Monday. 2 on Tuesday. Wednesday was yesterday. We had 2. Yeah, so 4 trades. So it's been very very light, man. All right, let's see here. We'll bring in.
All right. Well, I'm gonna see where. I don't know where things are gonna go. I'm gonna watch the usuals. Gonna keep an eye on Tesla here. Pretty flat going into the open here today. Very boring.
Yeah, I feel the same about that.
What else we got? Nvidia also looking pretty flat here into the open. You can tell the markets, to me, it looks like the markets are nervous. Look at the 2 moves that we've got on almost everything that happened at 8 and 8:30, right? Like we talk about that tinfoil line.
On which thing?
It doesn't matter. Look at any stock, pretty much. Any of the major, Magnificent Seven, the markets overall. We just have these 2 big, big wick candles at one at 8, one at 8:30 on almost everything. So that's not normal. Normally you don't get 2 like that. Apple's probably the smallest of them, but Nvidia's stick out especially. So does the SPY or Tesla. And as I've mentioned before, those stocks tend to follow the SPY more than Apple has recently. So
yeah,
let's see. AMD
do
is
I
dropping.
count? Do I count Parcel as a separate trade? No, Parcels I don't count as a separate trade. It's a separate ticket. But a trade, I could have 1 trade long, and if I parcel, let's say 10 times, the trade does very well. It's still 1 trade to me, right? So,
yep. Like I would count it as 1 trade if you add it into a trade, even.
Correct. Yeah, if it's part of the plan you add in, it's still 1 trade, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But that comes down to personal preference, I suppose, as to how you want to count it. But generally, I would say, that's all part of 1 trade decision. Oh, there's my alarm. 1 minute to go.
All right, 1 minute to the market open, friends. Let's see what we get today on this beautiful Thursday. Come on, let's give us a good, clean 5-minute ORB. We'll all go back to bed, not together, but in your separate beds. And we'll call it a day. It'll be fun. Clean 5-minute ORB, and we'll be done. Let's make this happen, market. What do we have? Friends over on YouTube, if you haven't done so already, hit that thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Right now, we are sitting. I don't even know where we're sitting at. 193 now that I hit the button. 193. All right, here we go.
All right, there's the bell.
There it is. Ding, 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 ding. All right. So as usual, guys, I'm waiting 3 minutes. I don't trade anything under 3 minutes. So I'll be looking for a 5-minute ORB around the 5 minutes. But sometimes you do get some good breakouts around the 3-minute mark. And we'll see how the overall market is going to be today. What's the reaction after such a big day yesterday? So
yeah, what will the reaction be?
All right. Good morning. Good morning. Yes. Andrew did mention he couldn't get the laptop done yesterday, so there was not a winner. Some people were asking me. There was no winner yesterday because he couldn't get his program to work. He's been moving computers between his office and I guess cause he's in his office today. You can see there. So he's been going back from his office to his house. So there's gonna be a lot of FOMO going on. Yep. I have FOMO. I have definitely traded very little this week, so there's some FOMO to trade. I had a green trade yesterday. Finally, um,
I've
popped up. Didn't
I've
last
gone
long.
short. I've gone short AMD just on that pullback towards VWAP. I'm not too
Okay,
confident in it here.
let's see if you get the
I'm gonna
breakdown.
get out.
Tesla's breaking down.
Yeah, I
Spy's
know.
breaking down. This
I'm not,
might help you here. This might actually help
I
you
think
with the
I might
Spy.
have picked the wrong horse here because both
No, no.
because I was
Wait,
looking at
wait.
Nvidia and AMD, and Nvidia's breaking down nicely, but AMD is not. So
You might
that's
get it now. Hold on.
disappointing.
You might. Let's see if you get it here. Um,
Yeah, I
you're
picked the.
struggling. Just need one
Look at
more
that.
move down, and you'll be able to get at least a
Always,
good partial
always
in.
picking the wrong horse. Yeah,
Always
I'm at a
seems that
break
way, man.
even. Yeah.
Yeah, it always seems that way. Um,
All right.
wow,
I just
everything's
got out of break
aggressively.
even.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's too bad. Too bad for me. Oh well.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Some stuff is pulling
Again,
back here.
I was really hoping for a good drop, but apparently not.
Ralph, no, there are not. Not sure of the future. Anything could change, right? So, but for the moment, no. But you can get access to them. We got to get you a link. The link is right at the top. If the variable team can throw it on there, the link is there if you want to see them trade live. Nvidia, if it goes above VWAP, might actually be a long. If we can get above VWAP here, it's got a good setup, but
I don't know.
it's
I don't
got a
know if it's the
yeah.
influence of being online here in the morning with you guys, but I'm trading like
Could be.
crazy, man.
It
I
could. It
just
could be, man.
see, I just tried to go long Tesla and then let myself get stopped out at break even again as well. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty wimpy on these trades, but
Yeah.
I
And it's
tried
not.
when it broke through. Sorry, yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Tesla, right?
When it broke through VWAP, I thought let's just see if we can get a spike long up to sort of the pre-market levels, and it went a little bit higher as soon as I was got in, and then it pulled back below VWAP, and I just got it at break even. So maybe I should try it again.
Yeah.
Uh,
That does look like it wants to go here, but it's gotta do a new high, I think here. Yeah, there is some pressure trading live, especially if you don't trade this time frame. So that's even more
yeah, not normal.
against what you normally do. Like usually when I'm done with the pre-market show, man, I get up, I go get a coffee, I come back, I sit down, relax, market opens up. It's a much slower pace when I'm not trading live. And sometimes I come back,
Right.
it's like 9:35. It's different than what I'm used to doing. But I don't mind this.
Yeah.
I don't mind this. I just can't let the excitement of being live get to me. Apple's doing its own thing, man. Everything is pulling back. Tesla is just a mess. It goes up, it comes back down. Apple is
Yeah.
kind of holding here. They got a big 5 minute candle that started at 189 towards 192. I would love to get a pullback. I don't think I'm going to get it on Apple. I don't want to chase it. I want a better entry, Apple. Can you give us that, please? Give us a pullback so we can get in. I do like Apple long. But as I look over to the SPY, I don't like the way the SPY is setting up, like it wants to break down. So just putting all these things together and seeing what's the best play here. I'm not looking to rush into anything. Um, but I also think we're gonna eventually this market is gonna settle today and go one direction.
All
And
right. I've gone short AMD again as I saw it break through VWAP. Just took a quick partial,
nice. AMD
which
or
means that
Nvidia?
my stop AMD.
AMD. Yeah.
My stop moves to break even,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not cooperating here properly.
It's not.
The markets are really uncertain this morning. I'm not getting
Yeah.
these continuation moves I want. Normally, when it breaks, it'll break Like I would have expected AMD on that type of break to have gone and got to the low of day like around 91, but instead it just went like 30-40 cents and then stopped.
Yeah.
So now maybe we'll go. Come on.
I like Apple, man, but I need a better entry. I think it wants to go here, but here I'll be in a bad situation if I go long here. Baba doing some stuff. PLTR starting to rev up the engines here. Let's see if this means anything. So we're above the VWAP. We're just kind of consolidating now. Had a nice breakthrough candle on minute 2, right above the VWAP, and everything else since then has been holding the VWAP.
Come on.
Let's see if we get anything here. PLTR. See, Andrew's thinking like me, or I'm thinking like him. He's long in PLTR, and yes, it looks like a long here. It really does. He's already in from a minute ago. But he's probably seeing the same thing. He's holding the VWAP here. He is long already on it. And I think I want to join the party.
Okay, partial on AMD. Finally
Nice.
hit the 91 I was looking for, that I was talking about.
Very nice, very nice. Damn it, PLTR. Yeah, Pig Wrestler. It's a tricky one on PLTR.
Yeah, PLTR looks ugly to me. I mean, you could be right.
I kind of like it, but it now is, it's not looking like this move should have happened already, right? Oh, here we're gonna go. All right, let's go. I'm gonna go long PLTR. I think it wants to go here, man. Stop loss 88.80, but I think PLTR is looking good. I like the level 2. I like the potential of the 5-minute breakout here if we can get it going. Let's get to 90. We'll start taking some partials up here. Let's see if we can go. Come on, let's go back to old trading momentum that we had just a week ago. A week ago, things were awesome for the morning market opens. MU was the best looker to me. Let's see. We didn't look at MU. I'll take a look at it in a second here. See how that looks. Come on, PLTR. Make it happen. Where's President Trump? Let me see if I could text him to text something. Yeah, tweet something, man. Tweet longs. We need Trump to do some stuff here. All right. Good. We're getting a nice pop here. Yeah, I need to text him like, hey man, get on social media. Hook me up here. Oh man, I did. What a nasty candle. That's not good.
Yeah, Tesla. Yeah, that's see. I don't like PLTR. I don't like the look of these candles.
Yeah, that one candle there is pretty bad.
Even Tesla, I don't like the look of the candles. Tesla looks weak. Looks like it wants to head down, but
yeah.
I don't like the look of that either.
Yeah, this is not a good candle for PLTR.
Yeah.
It's going well, but then it's just merely dropped. Let's see if we can hold the VWAP. It's looking shaky.
I hope me and my crate. I've taken 3 trades this morning. That is very unlike me, but I hope that didn't influence you to take a trade.
No. I like PLTR, man. It looked good.
Okay.
But we're not getting the pop here. 88. I have to get out of here. And this is the problem, man. We're just not getting these continuations. Yeah, I'm out of it with my purple triangles. It's surprising every time I see it. I'm like, wait, what is this?
The pink ones.
The pink triangles.
Pink, purple, whatever.
Yeah. Man.
Did you show them to your daughter?
No. I haven't. but that, wow. Yeah, I missed the partial, Jeff. I got distracted, and by the time I looked at it, it was already back down to 89.75. So I clearly missed the partial. I went to a partial above 90, and it went to 90.13, but I missed it. So, missed it. Here it is, guys. Again, we're into a looks to be a crappy open. I know it's early, only 9:41, but man, this is not looking good. POTR might be heading back up. If it does, I might join again, but it's got to look good. SPY is heading lower.
Yeah, that's good for me.
Did Andrew bail on POTR? No, he took a partial at when I wanted to take a partial too at 90.13. So he took a partial up there, and then he got out of break even. So 3 trades up $1. That is this market, DEF. That is this market. This market is just, it's, oh man, it's not giving us a great move. Are you still short AMD, Peter?
Yep, just hanging on here, just waiting for it to move. Yeah, I'm hoping.
Let's see. Market is also selling down, so it looks like you're about to get a really nice move here. We might be getting into a sell-off, slight sell-off in the at least the first part of the open here. AMD, come on AMD, break down. No, you want to. Bob is looking ugly in the 5 minutes, really all over the place. Yeah, Ben, it is. But you know what? Even on non-resting days, the open has been really, really tough. You know, it's on everyone that I know that trades the way I do, like the 5 minute. It's been brutal, man, because you're just not getting. You're not getting the continuations, right? The one trade I had a green this week was yesterday, right? And it, you know, got 2 partials and then right back to break even. So, if I knew what was going to happen later in the day, I would have held everything into into the active place. But other than that, the market's just been so bad.
Here we go. Come on. I'm going to take a partial here ahead of 90, just in case it doesn't get through 90. I don't want it to bounce back on me, but hopefully we'll push through.
Nice. Pick Wrestler is also short AMD with you. Who else is short, guys, AMD? This is a nice move from VWAP. You got $2 in if you are anywhere close VWAP at least at the moment. So, very nice. Mara short potential. Let's take a look. I know Pig Wrestler likes Mara a lot. He watches it a ton. Yeah, could be. I would have liked it closer to VWAP, but I see a lot of bids down at 230, so that could be interesting. What is Hood up to today? That's messy. Angelique, good morning. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you on. POTR coming back up. Tesla holding this 257 level that we have here. Same with Nvidia trying to hold. Is the 5 minute range break your go-to setup? Yeah, it is my go-to setup, man. And I've been doing it for years. So I know there's times like this. I've been through many stretches where the 5 minute RB is just like doesn't work as well. And we're in one of those stretches right now where, or if it still works, but what happens is you have very limited opportunities opposed to what we had like 2 weeks ago. Right, 2 weeks ago, everything was looking good for a 5 minute RB. You're getting continuations. Now you're not getting that. So that does happen. And I've been through many stretches like that. And usually what I end up doing is like, oh, it doesn't, when I was inexperienced, oh, it doesn't work anymore. Let me change strategies. And it's not that. It's just you're going through a stretch where you just got to, ease off the gas for a little bit. It'll come back and you jump back in it. So, POTR is going. Market is going.
Just going to go check out something. I'm expecting a grocery delivery. So.
Nice.
Gotta go see if maybe they left it on my step.
Yeah, if you have anything cold, you don't want to go bad. Well, it's freezing up there, so you should be fine. All right, PLTR. If it establishes above the V up a little bit better, I would love to go long again. I think this wants to go. This wants to go, but I don't want to force a trade on it. But it feels like it wants to go, man. PLTR. Couple of bids at the bottom there. I'm sorry, ask at the bottom, so that's good. Market is pushing higher. Tesla, we want it above the VWAP if we can. Same thing with NVIDIA. If I want to go long here, it's got to be for a VWAP breakout. AMD doing some stuff, and Baba's not really getting the volume. So better outside there than the frizz. Yeah, I'm sure, Daniel. I'm sure. All right, friends. I want to say laptop day, but I got to confirm with Andrew. I want to make sure his program is working. I don't want no hype everybody up if we have to wait one more day. But what the heck? Let's play it safe. What we got to lose? We don't get a laptop, but at least if you can get a laptop, why not? So Lambo Diego, I don't know about that, but yeah, let's. Andrew said today he will be giving that away, so hopefully he's all set up to do that. Okay, NVIDIA, Tesla coming back. Damn you, PLTR. I knew it. You wanted to go higher. Look at you go. Very nice, very nice. I want to go long here, but everything I will go long on. NVIDIA is under the VWAP. Tesla is under the VWAP, so I don't like that. POTR is the only one that went above the VWAP and is cranking here. Cranking pretty nice, actually. Maybe Baba. But Baba doesn't have the volume. That's the problem I'm facing with Baba here. So let me see what else is out there that maybe not on my list. How is Hood? No volume. Apple. Yeah, I saw it here, and again, I should have entered. I was thinking about Apple, but didn't pull the trigger. I think POTR had a better move. It didn't turn out that way, but yeah. Apple was acting different from the market. Yeah, I did mention that. I really thought here though, when we had to struggle, I thought it was going to come back to VR because many things started pulling back. Apple actually held, so that's pretty good. And remember, I mentioned like in here, I would want to get in, but I needed a better entry. I can't go long here. It's too far from the VWAP. We wanted a pullback. We never got it, so I got into something else. But yeah, Apple was great. Apple was doing its own thing still now. I just my entry was not going to be good at that area where it was at that time. And there it is. Now we're going back down, pushing off the VWAP.
All right. And they had left the groceries just on my front step, so.
Nice. Good, good, good. All right, Andrew's back in on PLTR. So he's in on that.
In PLTR? Oh, okay.
Laptop, please. I'm trying to trade off a $150 Lenovo. That's where you sell that. I don't even know what is that. That's okay. This baby is terrible.
Yeah, after IBM sold off their laptop business many, I don't know, decades ago now, they all became
I used to
Lenovo's.
have a IBM ThinkPad. They called it ThinkPad. Man, that thing was awesome.
Yeah,
That thing was great for that time. So it was the I got it from work. Like they gave us laptop,
really?
and man, they gave us
See,
some beefy ones.
we used we used to call them stink pads.
Well, I knew the IT director. He was a buddy of mine, so you know,
Oh, you got the good ones.
yeah, I got the
You
good
got
one.
you got one of the good ones.
I was on the
Yeah.
special list. Oh yeah. Um. Oh yeah. Then everything moved to Dell. Dell took over.
Yeah. Dell did a great job of transitioning from being a retail computer, provider. Remember, it was Dell and Gateway. Remember
Oh my
Gateway
God.
computers? I think they're still out there, but I
Yeah.
don't actually. Are they still alive? I have no idea. Anyways, but and then but Dell made a great transition into the corporate world where they took over that corporate,
Mm-hmm.
laptop and desktop provisioning, and I was actually very impressed by how they managed to do that.
Yeah.
'Cause it was always it was always an interesting debate. I mean, I used to run IT departments, right? So it was always amazing
Mm-hmm.
debating with non-technical executives as to, I don't understand. I can go down to Best Buy or wherever, and I
Oh
can buy
yeah.
a laptop for $500. Why does this
Mm-hmm.
one cost me? Why does it cost me $1,500 per employee? That's ridiculous. And then you have to
Yeah.
explain. Well, it's yeah, you know. One will last you 6 months in a work environment. The other one you hope will last 2 to 5 years, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And the
Anyways,
support behind and all the good stuff that comes with it.
yeah,
Um.
yeah. Dell HQ. Well, look, I mean, it's all about buying contracts really, and who offers the best
Mm-hmm.
incentives and deals. So, Dell did a good job, I think, in the tech world. IBM was more manufacturing and heavy industry, and HQ, I noticed, and Compaq focused a lot on educational systems. So it's almost like they sort of just focused on different segments of the market.
Yeah.
So, in any event,
Wow, guys, this is such a scalper's market. And again, I'm not a scalper,
yeah,
so I'm not gonna do well in this market. I mean, I'm just looking across the board. Look at Nvidia, how choppy it is. Look at Tesla. I mean, pure TR did get a breakup, but you had to have a good entry here. But man, it is AMD. It's actually one of the better trades on here, Peter. So you got in probably one of the best tickers that's actually trending, right? But
yeah.
this crap we're seeing, look at Bob. I was thinking of possibly going long. It's pulling back. This is a scalper's world, man. I don't do well with this. I might take vacation next week, come back when this is done. And let's see. Might go down to Miami or something, man. Uh, Peter, let's go down to Miami. Let's hang out there for a week, and we'll come back when this is all over. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, that would be great because then I could get some runs in an environment that might be similar to
Warm
where
weather.
I'm going to be running. Yeah, I'm sick and tired of running in the cold here. I gotta say, it's driving me
Yeah,
nuts.
we should do that. We should take a week and just take our equipment down, run the whole show from like a nice warm place. Maybe this winter we'll do that. Why
Yeah,
not?
that'd be
Yeah,
great.
let's do it.
That'd be
We should
great.
do it. Should do it. Bring the
Just
wives.
that would be
Yeah,
sort of cool. Just rent like a
yeah,
big team Airbnb. My wife wouldn't do it. She's got a job and stuff, but it's.
yeah, yeah.
But I'd love to do that.
Nah, that would be fun, man.
Anyways,
That would be really fun. So, but yeah, let's plan it
well,
when it's miserable for us, like this winter.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It actually would be cool. You get a giant place, even if the families were to come down, kids running around
Yeah.
everywhere. I miss that. I miss kids running around everywhere.
Yeah.
I
Let's
could.
do it, man. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Anyways, guys, I am still in AMD. I'm looking. Where's the next logical place? Maybe, and I don't know how much drop AMD has in it, but I'm looking at yesterday's high. In fact, the high of both Monday and Tuesday is
Yeah,
sitting
it's
at
coming up.
basically $89. So if it can hit 89, that would be my next area for a partial. Otherwise, I'll hold on, and I would consider getting out if it goes back above VWAP now that my entry is above the VWAP price.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is nice. It's always a good position to be in. You know, you're in a good trending trade when your entry is above the VWAP. That's well, if you're short, that is. I feel like I got lucky on this one. This is not my typical strategy, not the way I normally play, but I thought I would be trying something different. These VWAP bounces. I was thinking about you, Carlos. You were talking about this, and these bounces off the VWAP, or and like look at Tesla today, right? Tesla, I found a little awkward trade. I actually tried to go long on Tesla, but then thereafter, it seemed to put in a definite sort of indication that it was sort of staying under that average price.
Yeah.
And look at how many times it bounced, and then it went down, came back up, retested even lower back at 952 there, and then of course bounced down again. So yeah, that feels like that was the trade.
Yep.
So
let's see here.
Yeah, PLTR long is a hard trade.
No, I don't see that happening no time soon. It's just ugly.
No.
App was still maintaining above the VWAP. And Tesla seems like it wants to break down. Like if I was a scalper, I'll get in here for a quick drop in partial because it looks like it does want to break down. But I don't trade like that, right? So,
I'm just looking at my bill here. I want to show you guys something. Hold on a second. I'm going to be right back.
Do it. He's going to bring in the groceries. Peter's going to bring in the groceries and show you how much he paid and how many bags he got. Probably like 2 or 3. He paid $150. Well, Canadian, no, he probably paid $215. Let's take bets, guys, before he says anything. Take bets. How much you think Peter's grocery was? Let's look at the bags first. Let's look at the number of bags. What is he bringing here? All right, let's see here. All right, Peter. Before you say anything,
all right, this is
I'm not
it.
sure if you can hear me.
This is what they delivered me. Hold on.
Before you say anything, don't share the price, Peter. We want to guess. No. All right, so let's take a look.
So I do have some organic protein powder here. So I actually have 2 different types of protein powder. So factor that in. But I got some bananas. I will tell you, this is the cheapest thing that I bought. I had this hankering for cereal. I got 2 little boxes of cereal. Look, you can tell it's Canadian. It's in French. Anyways, some Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt. I got some crushed tomatoes, some beans, some breadcrumbs, stuff that I needed when I was making stuff and I didn't have the ingredients. Jam. It's pancake mix. All right, so that's what I got. How much?
Let's guess here.
One tray. That's all that was left on my doorstep. One little tray.
Canadian? Are we doing Canadian dollars, or are we doing Canadian, or are we doing US?
Well, I have it in Canadian here. I guess.
Yeah, in Canadian. So I'm gonna go actually less. I'm gonna go with 105. 105. You got protein. No. 175.
Yeah.
175. Protein's expensive. All right, see the numbers come in. What do we have, Peter?
What are people guessing? I'm looking at the video, not what you people are guessing. Yeah. You guys are totally wrong.
How much are you looking at?
Hold on. Let me see if I can even show it to you. You see that? $257.
How much is the protein, Peter? What's going on here?
Okay, so this one was $60.
Yeah.
And this one's 50.
Okay, so yeah, so the protein was what threw us off. That's
So there's
expensive.
like $110 worth of protein powders
Yeah,
right there.
that's what's throwing us off. That's some expensive stuff. Um,
You know what
Peter,
I
your
didn't
trade on
get?
AMD, your trade on AMD is rocking, man. We're down at 86. Just want to make sure you're looking at it and taking some partials if you need to.
Oh yeah, look at
But
that.
it's
I better take a partial on AMD. Thanks.
it's
I'm
rocking.
busy
Yep.
focusing on showing you my groceries.
No, that was
I'm
important,
not
man.
looking
That
at my
was
trade.
try to get through the mouse and take a partial.
Yeah. Thanks.
But yeah, we're getting a nice drop, guys. Now I'm looking to see where we can join the party. But maybe Apple. But you know, Apple has been so strong, been holding here nicely. But it might be giving in now. Apple might be giving in here. Wow, PLTR. My goodness. As Peter moves his groceries out of his workspace.
Yeah. Got to move this out of the way.
Very nice. Yeah, right. If you're close to 250, maybe you get the laptop. No, we got to make it fair advance. If we would have done that
Yeah,
in advance, we could have done that. Whoever got the closest, gets the
you're like,
laptop.
I
Yeah.
can't afford to give you a laptop. I just buy groceries. I mean, geez, it's expensive. I can't
Oh
even make a
man.
meal out of that. I don't have enough stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It is brutal
I
today,
need
friends.
I need this AMD trade to keep dropping. Then I can pay for my groceries.
No, this is looking good, man. It's looking good.
It
All right,
is.
so want to get an idea. I want to see if I'm the only one struggling here this week. But how many of you guys are struggling this week or finding it easier to trade? Just put yes or no. I need to get an idea of like, because this week has been one of the worst weeks I had as far as finding opportunities and also the P&L. Like I'm gonna be red this week, no question. Which is fine. Right? You can't win every week, but it's been a while since the whole week was like red. So let's see. Big struggles. Okay. Tough for this week. Same here. Tough. Yes. Horrible. Easier. Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
need to
well,
hear about
it all
that.
depends on what side of the trade you're on. Yeah.
Yeah. Gated community, I'm sure. Okay. Else I would have been stolen, man. Elaine, where are you thinking about? Like South Jersey, Newark? Like what are you thinking about? Camden? There's some rough areas where they will steal your groceries, but and that's in every part. Like people are like,
I,
oh, don't pick on New Jersey. That's everywhere. It's always good and bad areas
yeah.
everywhere. Tough mixed bag, in and out. Tough, much better. I'm struggling this whole year. Okay, well, it's been a tough year.
I don't. I don't really have to worry about it. I am on a corner lot, so anybody driving
hmm
by could see stuff on my doorstep. So I always worry about that. But frankly, it's a pretty safe
Yeah,
area. It's not
yeah.
likely that someone's going to steal my stuff.
Easier for me
But
shorting low caps. Ooh, it's risky, baby. Shorting low caps. Careful, careful. So yeah, I'm just kind of going through all these comments. All right, so it seems like more people are struggling this week, right? Forget about even the whole year, but this week has been tough. So just save your ammo. Save your ammo. You know it's gonna get better, but yeah, this week has been pretty crappy. Peter, AMD's moving up a little bit here. Did you take a partial?
yeah.
Close to 85,
Oh
80,
yeah.
50? Nice,
Once
man.
you pointed it out to me, so thank you for that. Yeah, I got it at 88. What do we got? 88.72. So
Nice.
I'm good with
Sweet.
that. I said
Excellent.
89 was my target. That was the high of the previous of Monday, Tuesday. You can
hmm
see on the daily there. So logical place it might bounce. And that was great. So,
Yeah, Melanie, I agree 100% with your comment. Yeah, that's why again only took one trade today. Like it's making me hesitant to jump in on trade because I'm just not getting the continuation. So just one trade, short on PLT, I mean long on PLTR, got stopped out, and then just have not seen anything that I like. So like I keep thinking Baba long too. It's doing it again. It's going up above the VWAP. I do like it long. The day looks nice too. It's one of the many tickers that are actually in the green. They're up 2.5, 8.7. China's talking about stimulus. And you know what? These are the guys that probably can get more good news. Like if China comes to an agreement with the U.S. on tariffs, they can probably get a nice little pop here, right? And it might not happen today, but they're meeting about more stimulus to their companies, right? So these Chinese tickers could do well. We gotta be on the lookout for them here. Um, but I like Baba for a possible long. I just I just don't like the type of volume we're getting. Seems very, very low. So something like that, you have to give it a lot of room, and you got to give it time when the volume is that low. Oh, one more thing. Someone commented earlier on YouTube, guys, and again on YouTube, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. We have a nice, good group today. Are you guys here just for the laptop, or because you like me and Peter? I can't tell. I
Well,
want to be clear.
you don't ask questions you don't want answers to, Carlos.
Could be both. Just say both. Don't even say
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
Mike. Don't
that's
answer
right.
that question. Don't
Just
answer that
please,
question.
yeah.
But
Protect
hit
our
that
egos a
thumbs
little
up.
bit.
Yeah, yeah. But hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it. We're sitting at 326. We'd love to be. We got to be closer to 500 for the laptop, right? 912 people watching, so we appreciate it. But someone mentioned earlier, that tariff is not going to affect. I forgot the name. It's not going to affect Apple or this company or that company. Yes and no. It might not affect them directly, but keep in mind when tariffs is an issue, we have this tariff war. We just went through Peter's groceries list. What do you think his people are going to do? They're going to buy less, right? So your company might not have nothing to do with tariffs. Your product might be made here in the U.S., but people start holding on to their money, and that is going to affect every company, right? So just keep that in mind. It's not just stuff that gets imported. Those get hit harder and get hit first usually, but it affects everybody because consumers in the U.S. just stop spending as much, right? Even if you don't have money problems, you're not going to spend as much because just the sentiment. It's like, hey, things are not great, let's not spend this much, right? So just keep that in mind. It affects everything. So here for expertise, saving for membership. Yeah, or unless you win, Elaine. If you win, you are good to go. Buy protein. Peter's going to make his own whiskey. Very nice.
No. Leave that to the professionals.
Absolutely. That's got to be tough. And time consuming. Actually, most of the stuff are made in China. Yeah, I thought that too. I mean, of course it is. But then I saw how much we export to China. I'm like, what the heck are we exporting to China? We actually export a whole lot. Eamon told me how much we export to China. It's a big chunk. I had no idea. I thought ships just went back empty to China. But no, we export a lot of goods out there. So not as much as what comes in here, but it's a big chunk. I mean, their population, right? Think about China's population is insane. So, what is everyone trading? Andrew's looking at the U.S. dollar against Canadian, down slightly.
I hear Brian using my name in vain. I did not trade CarMax. Yeah. CarMax had a good rejection off of VWAP too. That was actually a good play, but I was busy looking at AMD. And you notice AMD wasn't actually on my watch list this morning. I normally, I used to watch it all the time, but so many other people had put it on their list. I thought I would take a look at it. I don't know. It's funny because initially NVIDIA looked like the better trade. Thought I'd picked the wrong horse, but I'm glad I tried it a second time because clearly that was the winner. So, and that's something that it took me a long time to learn, and I still struggle with at times. That it's not always you can have the right idea, but the wrong timing. And when is it a good idea to try the same trade another time or even a third time? And when is it just foolishness? Right? You're just being stubborn. That's really hard to figure out the difference between those, I found. So it's taken me a while to get comfortable to say, you know what, this is the trade setup still makes sense. And it's good to try it again versus I'm just being stubborn and I'm just, hammering at something that's clearly not working. So.
Yeah. Yep. AMD, yeah, AMD's coming back down. Might break 80. Well, it broke 89 earlier. Let's see if it does it again. But you
Yeah.
got a level there, right? That is the high of the previous two trading days ago. So that would have been the 8th and the 7th, the 7th and the 8th.
Yep.
That would have been Monday and Tuesday. So that's that red line you see there. Let's see if it's gonna hold. Oh, see how Mara, so big wrestler. He did call out Mara short. Yeah, it's working. Man, it's weak. Yeah, nice here. But you took AMD, which is probably. I think AMD was a great trade, man. I think AMD,
Yeah.
because you might see stuff now that like dropped off and kept selling, but this actually gave you a clean entry opportunity, and that's important because sometimes you see something. Oh wow, this ran so much. Yeah, but what was the entry opportunity? Right, because this is where you're making your decision. What it does after doesn't really matter. If you get a clean
Right.
entry opportunity, which you did in AMD, that's gold, right? That's going to be better than something else that gives you a crappy opportunity and then goes down. What how many dollars, right? Doesn't help you. Doesn't matter. So,
All right.
I think AMD was pretty clean here. Peter is giving away a Lambo. If this AMD goes down, he's giving away a Lambo and a room at his house for about 6 months, and free groceries, including protein. So yeah, and you get a running coach on top of that because you could run with him every morning. So it's a good
Wow.
deal. Yeah.
That's quite an offer you're
If
extending
your wife
on my
is
behalf.
if your wife is listening, she's gonna call you and say, "I hate Carlos."
Yeah.
What is he talking
Yeah,
about?
exactly. What the hell is he talking about? I
Oh
have
man.
yes, VL. Look, my protein. Look, it's plant based, completely organic. So sport protein. Here you go. There's the one, and this one is delicious. By the way, if you guys haven't tried this is all mushroom based. It's fantastic. I quite enjoy this one, and it tastes like cocoa. It's quite it's real cocoa flavor. Anyway, there you go. It's Megan's influence got me on the organic, plant based stuff. Quite delicious.
Nice.
Soy protein, well, not necessarily. All those, the whey based protein. I find that those typically are a lot cheaper. So, but yeah,
I
certainly
don't
mushroom
see.
protein is not cheap.
I don't see nobody in anything. Is anybody in besides AMD? I see Andrew's not in anything right now, unless he's short Tesla on TSLL. I don't know. I can't hear what he's doing. Nvidia, Apple, Nike. Let's see. Yeah, Nike back down, man. These guys are struggling. So Nike was a good short too. But again, how will you enter this? It would have been tough here. But they're down quite a bit, 10% almost.
You guys made me wonder what I was getting. You were talking about soy protein. I'm like, I got to read this now. Wait, no, it's not soy. This is pea protein, pumpkin seed, brown rice, and alfalfa.
Mm.
So there you go. All right. Anyways, enough about that. Yeah, so we did have the numbers this morning. I see people talking about the jobs. Yeah, the CPI number and the jobs came out this morning. Didn't seem to have much of a market impact. Not a surprise, right? When you got tariff news like we've got now that are just again dominating the news cycle as they are, it's hard. It's hard for regular economic data to have much of an impact. So.
Dominated by the tariffs.
Yeah, and by what I didn't mention this morning, there's a bunch of Fed speakers that are going to be talking over the course of the day here. I should have mentioned those because I just ran out of room on my list. Our list here is shorter than it used to be. So I have, so I just didn't include them all, but there are Fed speakers. Let's see, what time are they talking? Starting at 10, we should have two speakers up now. Bowman is testifying to the Senate. Michelle Bowman. So Bowman. anyways, however you say that. That should be happening right now. And Jeff Schmidt is speaking at 10 as well. At noon, we've got Harker and Goolsby both speaking. And and then we got the budget that I mentioned that's coming out at 2. So.
All right. We'll see how things make out. Let's see. Our good buddy Eric in chat. Yeah, Eric, it's this has been for me is the worst week in a long time. And again, not as far as P&L, but as far as taking trades and finding opportunities. So the FOMO starts to build up, and I'm like, okay, I want to do something here, but there's nothing for me to do. Like, there's just, you got to sit and wait, So there's nothing for me to do here because if I look at all these 5-minute candles, there's nothing moving clean besides some of the stuff that we already spoke about. Like, look at PLTR, how messy that is. Apple was a little bit cleaner here, but now it's just getting a little bit messier. AMD obviously great. BABA also messy. CarMax was nice, right? You guys mentioned that one. Look at the beautiful drop there. But again, did you get your entry? There was not a whole lot of volume. And let's just look at the 5 minutes. Looks a little bit better. Get a bigger picture. What's the other one? Nike. Nike was actually a nice drop as well. 57 down to 53. A little bit lighter volume, so it's a little bit different to trade on this one. But yeah, beautiful drop. T-Man, exactly. There's not a lot of continuation on the stuff that I normally watch, right? And that's the problem. I don't scalp, so I need the continuation. And when I don't get it, it's tough. It's tough.
Someone was asking earlier what the definition of scalping was. I know we talked about it yesterday. Generally, scalping just means very short-term trading. You usually trade for smaller moves, often momentum-based. Usually when people are scalping, it's not so much, you're not using the charts as much as you're using level 2 and price action, but there's lots of different ways to do it. But, on average, it just means shorter-term perspectives.
Yeah, and I did catch a move yesterday. So I had a green trade yesterday on Tesla, but it was not quick pop. It took a while to get going. Finally made it. We took a couple of partials. I was not on already because Andrew had come on by that time. But you guys saw me take the entry. We took a couple of partials and then it came back to break even. Green trade, great, but I still didn't get that good continuation that we're used to seeing, right? So. Just been different. But I'm not, the thing to learn here is again, we've been through so many different type markets. It's not to go crazy and try to change everything now. I'm not gonna go buy a new keyboard now because to make my trading better. You understand the market you're in and just sit tight, sit tight. Because I used to do that, this is not working. Let's change the strategy. Let's change this. Let's change that. Let's be more aggressive. Let's change the way I partial. Instead of taking this percentage, take everything off, and you just can't do that. You can make small tweaks, but don't go changing all the fundamentals. Avi needs to get back to work. Yeah, where's Avi? Avi, I think took some time off. See, I don't know if Avi will do that well in this type of market.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I think he might have struggled. I mean, there's a couple of moves, obviously, that I think he could have taken advantage of if he was still here, because that would have been very late for him.
Right.
But, he said he wasn't feeling well, right? So
yeah.
So he wasn't going to trade this week.
Because he likes to hold. He'll hold for a long time to get the bigger move. He's always telling me, Carlos, hold. But holding here is just going sideways,
Right.
So I don't know. Can you explain P Capital membership for $3,000 with 50K trading account, please? Yes, we could take. We don't like to promote too much stuff because we appreciate you guys being here. But we can show you how that works since you're asking, right? So let's go to P Capital Trading, and we'll show you what the breakdown is. Actually, Bearwood Traders has a good breakdown of this, Peter. Now I'll let you do it since I know you do it every day, so you probably can explain it better than I can. when it comes to P
Uh,
Capital.
yeah, so yeah, P Capital Trading. Look, if you're interested, it's a great program, but it's tough. There's a lot of stuff we throw at you, and you only have to do half of it really to get the value out of it. It's funny to us that we get the comments all the time that you guys should be charging more for what you're doing. So take that with a grain of salt, of course, because I'm motivated to say it, I guess. But we're really not heavy marketers or sellers here. Really, what the boot camp is intended to do is help you understand how to create a single trading strategy that you can build upon, improve upon, and manage your psychology against. Because once you can do it once, you can then go do it for yourself to create other additional strategies, whether you want to add to your portfolio or you need to change it because the market is changing. Our theory here is about teaching someone to fish, so to speak. So we really want to give you the skills and the tools that you would need to be able to build a trading career over the long term. So in that vein, we've got like classes. I think there's about a dozen different webinars and classes you can attend each week. We've got live trading every single day that you're going to be doing with Avi and others. I go on there and do a couple. I think Carlos, you might have a couple, and we help everybody understand what that live trading looks like. And so you can sort of it's different to live trade with someone where we're going to explain our thought process, go through what are we seeing, what are we taking, what are we not, and why are we making those decisions. So that's a big important part of it. And of course you've got the group based mentorship sessions. You get put into a team, and in those different teams you got the opportunity to interact at different levels with people. So yeah, it's really a great camp. It's just said, it's very intensive, especially if you try and take advantage of everything. But if you're interested, check it out. Go to pcapitaltrading.com. You can get all the details. And if you got questions, email us. You can email me, Peter at Bearable Traders or Peter at pcapitaltrading.com. Either one. I'll get both those emails. Would be very, very happy to hear from you and answer any questions you might have. And, again, we don't want anyone to take it unless you're really, convinced that you're going to be able to get value out of it and take advantage of it. So,
yeah, absolutely. We just finished the last
watching
one.
This
man.
AMD.
It was awesome. It's really, really good.
Yeah, we just finished it literally just last week, so it was very good. The AMD, by the way, just pulling back to VWAP here, so didn't go any lower yet. We'll see. Again, the VWAP is now very well below. It's in fact at the low of the pre-market right now, so well below my entry. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to give it a little bit of room. If it goes above 91 and holds there, I'll probably get out of it. But it gives me lots of room to move, play with it here.
Yeah. No, you can't buy the funded account without the membership. We don't want to. I mean, Andrew at that point did not want to do that. I don't know if he wants to do that now or not. But there's really, there's no benefit to you just to get the funded account. Get everything and just take advantage of all the stuff you're going to learn. Because if you go in the funded account and you don't know what you're doing, you're probably going to lose money. So. It makes sense to get everything, and the cost is again for $3,000. Also, keep in mind, I'm probably going to get in trouble for this, but if you went to the TEDx event, I'm going to remind you, you get a credit, right? If you join this boot camp, if you went to the TEDx event, you get a credit. So, and it's a big chunk. I think you get credit whatever you spent on the sorry, not the TEDx event, the BBT ticket, the summit, right? So the summit, yeah. So if you do that, you get that credit back. Don't lose out on that. PLTR. Okay. That's it. I'm itching, Peter. I got to take a trade. I mean, I just got to take another trade. I'm going to go PLTR long here. I think we might be doing something above the VWAP. Let's just take a trade. This will be a good trade here if we can stay above the VWAP. I do like the breakout candle. I like the fact that we're staying above it. Tight stop. We won't want to see this go below the VWAP really. I want to see if it touches, okay, but if it starts closing below it, then we're gonna jump out of it. So let's see how it does. I see a lot of things bouncing back up. Nvidia, nice above the VWAP, pretty cool. PLTR. Let's see if we can get to the high of the day. It would be nice. And Apple just wrapping itself around the VWAP, man. Just really, just look at this. Just wrap. Nothing else going on there. Tough day. Does Tesla have a nice double bottom here? I mean, it's messy on the 5 minute, but look at on the 1 minute how many Teslas we have here. That's pretty decent on Tesla. And AMD, Peter, are you still in this a little bit? I know you had a good entry, or you're all out already.
Oh yeah, no, I still have some shares. Just waiting to see what happens.
Okay. All right, we're watching PLTR. Let's see if we can get a squeeze above this VWAP. How does GME look for me? Oh, look at GME is actually doing something. It's actually moving up. No volume whatsoever. So it's very very light as far as volume, but it's going. So this PLTR trades usually is a VWAP breakout, right? I aside from my 5 minute RB, I love these VWAP breakouts. I just don't think we have the strength to push too high here. Maybe if we get to 90, it'll be nice. But again, when you get the VWAP breakout, you come back and you retest the entry, and you hope here to get a continuation, right? So Nvidia did it. Nvidia actually did it pretty good. Here's the breakthrough candle there. Here's the pullback testing the VWAP, and then the continuation, right? So that's what I'm hoping to see on PLTR, getting above the VWAP. But again, it's struggling. Tesla couldn't get to VWAP. Nvidia did. Apple's just wrapping itself around the VWAP, so not really doing anything. But that's the idea. It's a VWAP breakout. Again. What else we have here? Baba's so messy. My goodness, look at this 5 minute charts, guys, on Baba. This is so bad. So yeah, let's see. Pulling back here. Let's see if we can survive this. If not, we'll get out of it. But yeah, it's just messy, man. Coming up at 10:30, we should be seeing some reversals. But reversals from what? Where are we reversing from? There's nothing that looks great here. Missed Nvidia. Yeah. Nvidia was a good pop. Yeah, CFC, my hands are like, come on, man. We gotta get into something. Like, it's been so dead. This is like my 5th 6 trade this week. I got 6 trades this week. Yeah. 6 trades. One of them green. The rest have been red or slightly red or half partial red, but it's definitely going to be a red week. We won't come back this week, that's for sure, unless this thing goes to like 95, but that's okay.
I added to AMD here at VWAP, and
very nice.
We'll see if we get a drop. If it goes now, my stop is about 91.40. So if it goes much above VWAP, I'm going to get stopped out here. But I'm hoping that it continues to drop.
Yeah, hopefully it could test the low of day for you again. That would be freaking awesome. Yeah, Eric, I do see Carmex. Carmex was awesome, but again, these trades they're tough to get in on. They really are. So what we got going on, Peter?
10:30 alarm.
Oh yeah, 10:30. Yes. All right, guys. Andy should be joining us shortly here and take some of your questions, kind of see what he did here. Guys, hit that thumbs up over on YouTube. Really appreciate it. It does help us out a ton to keep us here live and free for you guys on YouTube. It does help out again drastically. And I think today will be laptop day. I haven't confirmed with Andrew, so don't kill me if I'm wrong. But I believe today he was going to mention he was going to do the laptop giveaway today. So definitely take a look at that. Yeah, I'm looking at PLTR, Keith. I'm looking at the mother screen here. I haven't pulled away from it. So remember, I got a couple other screens. So I am looking at it as I'm looking at other things as well. Is there an installation program available for PCAP installment? Excuse me, program. There is not. Um, there is not. But you know what? Things change very, very quickly. You have a question, email team at Bear Traders. They'll let you know for sure, 100%. Whatever they tell you is gold. That's solid. But I'm not aware of any. But email them just in case. Okay, something could have popped up as fast as Trump's tweet yesterday, and me and
Good
Peter.
morning, everybody. Hey, buddy, how are
All
you?
right, Andrew. Good morning. Good morning. Doing good, man.
Morning.
Long PLTR trying to make something out of nothing today, but
Nice.
see what
I'm
happens.
on Tesla and I'm partially Tesla right now. Put it on the chat room as well.
Yep, it's on.
Sorry, not Tesla, NVDA.
NVIDIA. All right, guys. Peter and I are gonna hop off. We'll be in chat. So if you have any questions, let us know. But have a great trading day. Brian and Andrew are gonna join you guys here on YouTube.
Have
Awesome,
fun, guys.
thank you, guys.
Good smart.
Thanks.
Yeah, so guys in the chat room, you can hear me?
Hey,
Carlos? Making sure that the Carlos is on. Now you can. Okay, perfect. Yeah, guys, in the chat room, you see the guys. I'm partially some NVIDIA at 110. Jared also did the same trade. He had a decent day. I'm negative now, unfortunately, um, but it was it was a little bit difficult at the open. I think I could trade on PLTR, and unfortunately not some great trading
morning.
on Tesla and NVIDIA. NVIDIA now, it's interesting. Brian, you did a nice short on
Yeah,
Tesla, yes?
Yeah, I got a nice short on Tesla. Also got a nice short on NVIDIA. Trading the 108 puts. So that worked out quite well when we got that sell-off just before 10 o'clock. Had a nice read on the level 2 on Bookmap. Just highlighted some areas where it was going to probably trade down to. So very sort of choppy price action here, guys. We're just sort of stuck in a pretty narrow trading range on the SPY and the Qs. So just watch for a break one way or another.
All right, let's see. PLTR is also coming back up. Again, I'm still long on Tesla as well. PLTR might be another case for the pop. 89.37. We can get stop loss at 88.80. I'm going to get long on PLTR again. NVIDIA is also breaking the high of the day.
Yeah, Nvidia's at 110. That's sort of pre-market. It's a pre-market area where you spent a lot of time. This 110, 111 area. So definitely an area of resistance.
All right, so let's see if NVIDIA can go back to 111. Okay, PLTR is popping up nicely as well. If Tesla goes up as well, then we are back in business. SPY Qs are trying to regain the VWAP. Tesla is popping up too. Oh, perfect. Very nice.
Yeah, this the one trade that I missed today. One of my favorite trade setups was CarMax KMX. Had a nice sell off going into the open, popped up right up to the VWAP on that first couple minutes, and then it's just continuing to leak off here. Would have been a great short right at the VWAP. Took a few minutes for that to play out, and I didn't, just wasn't patient enough. Keep watching it. And the spread on the bid and ask was kind of ugly too. So I think it kind of discouraged me from entering that trade.
Apple's down 3%. Still PQ 48. Let's see. Nvidia looks like it wants to pop back up. Let's see if Nvidia can go to 111. PLTR, I want to get the PLTR at 90. Tesla's grinding up too. Ah, perfect. Tesla is also popping up. All right, so now it's nice. The partial more on Tesla, it's at the VWAP. That's what I want. PLTR 90. Yeah, the market is really catching the beat right now on everything. All right, perfect.
Yeah, PLTR is moving nicely.
Yeah, Tesla, PLTR, NVIDIA, I want to get to 110.50. Yeah, PLTR, I want PLTR at 90. Oh, there you go. Big ask at 90 sitting there. That's what we want.
Yeah, there you go. I'm just going to scalp this through 90 PLTR. See if we get through 90 here. Some big orders right there. Here we go. Nice.
Oh, nice. Partialing out here, 907. Now it's very profit. Okay, now market is catching up with beat very nicely. This is what.
Very nice. Yeah, nice move on PLTR.
Come on, Tesla. You can do it too. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, nice little move on PLTR there. All right. How was everyone else's day? PLTR recaptured the VWAP.
Carefully profitable like that. Again, remember, it's not about making money, it's about keeping the money. It's very important. Risk management. Yeah, so NVDA is nice. I mean, Carlos is sharing my screen as you see here. NVDA, guys, it's did a very nice consolidation about the VWAP. So I made all the losses back on NVDA. TLTR is profitable too. The only thing that I'm in loss is Tesla. I'm hoping that Tesla can pop to the VWAP. 258 could be nice area.
PLTR does have some big orders at 91 and 92. I don't know if it's going to get there. It's kind of going to depend what the overall market does, which we're still kind of stuck below the VWAP on the SPY. Man, the SPY is like, it looks like the patient has died with no pulse at all there. Same with the Qs. We haven't moved in the last 10 minutes.
I'm actually super grateful to be alive to see these environments. I lost money, but I'm just experiencing these environments. It's just amazing. Like it makes me much better investor. It's amazing. Being alive, really, John Raff is really like everybody is every morning should wake up. Oh my god, I'm fucking experiencing things. Like it's amazing. Um, so much amazing experience.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if this thing can get to 58 or not. NVIDIA want to get to 111. PLTR is going to go for a high of the day. Yeah, thanks, Cindy. You didn't come, Cindy, to the office. This Vancouver. All right, so here we go. Filter is gonna go half a day. NVIDIA on 111.
Yeah, PPR could another another buck or so, and it could be at PDC yesterday's close.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all PLTR if it goes green, um, especially with the cues
Q's
from
and
the
SPY
bubble.
look like they're getting ready to break out to the upside here now
Yeah,
after this long period.
perfect. Yeah, PLTR broke the high of the day, guys. So selling more on PLTR here. NVIDIA is also pretty good. Only thing that is very jerky is Tesla right now.
No,
Nothing from the president yet. Do you think they're gonna lower the rates next month?
no.
You don't think
You
they're
mean
gonna
the
do it?
Fed?
The market is betting over 50% that
No.
they're gonna. Um,
I think I think you have to go out to June. The June meeting, there's sort of a better percentage.
right, perfect. John has a mean green to patient. That was a good time though. In the last 2 years, this bubble had a really good life. Even though I lost a lot, but it was a fun ride. I lived like a celebrity. That was amazing. Now back to the office, work. It was really fun. NVIDIA Jared is getting to one. Do you think Jared is going to get? Are we going to get 111 on NVIDIA? I think it's very likely. BLTR is pulling over Tesla.
So no rate drop in May. Next meeting is in May. Still 75, 76% stays the same. June is more two-thirds, 65%. There's a rate drop. In July, it's much higher, like over 90% that we're going to have at least one cut under the belt, according to the Fed Watch tool, which is sort of a bit of a betting site for what's going to happen. GME is on the breakout, is breaking out to the upside. If that's all about.
GME. Yeah, GME is up
Again, we just
2.5%.
seem to be not making any progress at all here. In the markets, we're just chopping sideways, so it's a good. So it's just a good time not to take any trades. Just wait for something. Wait for a breakout of this range, basically.
All right, so Qs and SPY couldn't really trade above the VWAP. NVIDIA is coming back down to my
Yeah, they
break.
couldn't break out there.
Seems that the market doesn't have enough momentum for the upside. Treasuries, what are the treasuries do? TLT bonds are down a little bit. IOTR, it's poor guys doing IPO now in this market. What the hell they were thinking IPOing now? Really? Like
Insiders
financial
want to get some money out.
Yeah, but in this weak
In
financial
August.
market, like everybody is in panic mode. Nobody's buying, even treasuries. Like, what the hell are you thinking that you're IPOing now?
So basically, IPOs are a way for the founders, the founding members of the company to get to take some money out of the company that they've been building.
Yeah, the time for the IPO was just right after the election, November, December. That was the good time for IPO. And back in 20, after the recovery of the
Yeah,
COVID, when the free money was inverted, and eventually that's where the Chamat and the all in podcast and stuff, they all IPO those SPACs. They made all these billions over there in that time. Now the financial market is under extreme stress. I don't know if anyone can do successful IPO unless it's like very, very famous, like TradingView or Stripe. I think these are the some of the big unicorns that are still private. All right, so NVIDIA is coming back to my break-even point. So I'm gonna stop out on the NVIDIA, guys. Tesla, yeah, Tesla's probably Tesla. I'm probably gonna I probably need to get a stop down on Tesla as well, guys. And PLTR is the only one that we have. Still not in my break-even point, but this one is gonna probably stop me out as well. Any question, guys? Now that the market is kind of quiet, any question? Let's get some questions from chat or more from YouTube. The thanks was
yeah.
the new book is almost just in the last phase of editing. Just my editor is going through the whole book for consistency and coherency. I know with ChatGPT and stuff, like editing is much easier, but still you need a human touch to really read through that, making sure that all the graphs, all the figures, everything is consistent. Um, Chris, for Thailand, I'm not really 100% sure yet for the time. I know it's April. April, May is good, and then you get into the monsoon, and then later. I am in PLTR and
Yeah.
Tesla right now, and I think actually I got out of Tesla. I'm only in PLTR right now, so which is very close to my position to get stopped out. No, I'm not green. Like I'm $1,500 down because it goes straight to the opening. So
Yeah, I think, yeah, big wrestler. I like your name. I think you're right. I think we spent too much time trying to break out here, but there's this area of support now, 420, 528 on the SPY. We seem, again, we're just stuck trading in this range. People trying to figure out what the next, where the next value area is for the markets.
So
Because
Ned
a
is
90-day
asking
pause really
about the trading leverage
doesn't take
products.
uncertainty out of the market. Sorry,
Uh,
what's that?
so, sorry to interrupt. Finish your thoughts, Brian.
No, that's it. I was just saying, I mean, it's just a matter. Now we're just kind of chopping around. Saying that, 90 days doesn't really take uncertainty out of the market. It only pauses it. Yeah, go ahead.
Um, the question is, trading leverage products is significantly safer for intraday quick trades. Yes, that's the whole point of the leverage products is to catch intraday moves. These instruments are designed for day trading or extremely short-term trading, like 1 or 2 days. And because the nature of the leverage, they can get destroyed in the pullbacks. And when for example, let's say, in a very normal bear market, an index can pull back to 30%, like what we did in 2022, and even this one, Qs went down almost 30% from all-time high. So what happens here is that the three times leverage, when something pulls back 30%, they go down to 90%. And then when the market bounced back 30%, goes back to all-time high, they go back 90%, but they start from the bottom. So a $10 drop of 90% would be $1, and a 90% return on $1 would be only $1.90. So you never get into back to those prices. That's why you shouldn't get into these extreme volatile environments. That's what the nature of them is. If the market drops more than 33% in a day, they don't go to zero. So because the 33% times 3 would be 99%, but they don't go to zero because the fund manager mandate is to keep the asset at least at 10%. So that's the maximum that they go in one day. So definitely these are, again, my biggest losses, wipe out years of profit has come from holding these ones in the very, very big long term. Yeah, and I think in Europe they're illegal to trade. Like brokers in Europe, if you have interactive brokers, they're not allowing you to trade these stuff because again, these are the weapons of mass destruction. They really destroy wealth. Leverage in general, what I found from, I've been a trader for 5 years and I've been kind of an investor for the next after 5 years because I made enough money to manage, a $10 million account, and I realized that Warren Buffett is right. The key to building wealth is uh, in small, consistent growth over the long term without use of leverage or very, limited use of leverage. Like about 30%, they say is a good time. But buy like that's why real estate is a good investment for most of the people because you are having an asset that is not volatile and is leveraged. And that's the perfect combination for generating wealth over long term. That's why everybody should have at least one property, at least the one that they're living your primary residence, because you're dealing with an asset that it doesn't have day-to-day volatility, and you're using 5 times leverage usually on that. So this is very important to recognize that I found that, like, honestly, like I was in a very different environment. I figured this thing out. Okay, I'm the best day trader ever. If you go chat GPT, probably says Andres is one of the good traders. And I realized that, okay, but the way that I'm making money, by next year I have the private jet. Literally last year in Vancouver, someone told me that, hey, Andrew, I'm in the business private jet. If you want, we can find something for you small and so. Literally, my mind wasn't there. Like, using this leverage, so well, let's get it before because I want money now. I don't want money when I'm like 75. Like, so young, let's do that. And that was the very bad state of mind, which impacted me as also a trading educator and the community leader. Like, you guys are not here to cheer for me how much money I have and then cry for me how much money I lost. You're here for support, and being an example, inspiration, and trade ideas, trade tips, education, and consistency. And the days that I make $200,000 doesn't impact anybody, because you guys are not trading the way that I do and don't have the account that I have. So you want to see how can I make $1,000 a day. That's most of the people want, like $500, $1,000 a day is enough for a lot of people. And I found that over long term, if I want to become, I mean, I'm a great day trader, but I'm a horrible investor. Someone who has absolutely no risk management in place, especially in the event of high volatility, which this is. So yeah, it was a great reflection point for me that what am I doing with my life and my brand as a trader. Like, I like to keep my brand as someone that is invited to high quality conferences, do high quality presentations. We have research papers. I don't want to be known as a DJ gambler, which there's a lot of them in social media, making amazing money, and then usually showcase their outlier results, either extreme. There are some traders that post big losses as well. Extreme profit or extreme loss. Like, it really, I don't like that. I like to be known for someone that shows consistent. That's why my recaps were really nice before in the past, that show consistent ups and downs of markets. Like, I might get back into the recap trading, but in a different style, rather than how much money I made that day. What are the lessons that we get in that day in different market environments. And it's very important, because when I started, I wanted to prove to everybody that I'm a trader. And that's why every day I post recap, every day I post P&L. And even one time Peter, it was many years ago, he actually had a spreadsheet that counted all of my P&L and told me that one time, Andrew, we count, this year you made it this much. And it was kind of very close, because he had every day Peter like that. But I'm at that past stage. I think I've proved to myself and to everyone that I can do scalp trading. Now for me is that I have to be the best version of an educator, an example that I can be. And yeah, I mean, definitely I was in the wrong. Like, we had the team meeting yesterday too, and I had told people in the community to tell me if you think Andrew is really off the charts, or tell me, give me the feedback, Brian, give me the feedback, Mike, John, Peter, everybody, Amen. Just, hey, Andrew, you're really becoming like a cowboy trader. Um,
Tesla's been selling off. Market's been selling off a bit here as you've been talking.
yeah, so yeah, PLTR. I'm also out of PLTR, and yeah, I closed my day $3,000 at loss. Unfortunately, Tesla got me, but we'll see. Um, I mean, I'm gonna be in the office today. I'm gonna definitely have my phone. Usually, you get this breaking news notification on Bloomberg or Wall Street Journal. So
Yeah, Tesla may be heading to 250 here, especially since the market's been selling off.
all right, so today is Thursday. What do we have today? Uh, I think in the webinar room for all the elite members, I think Phil is having a session today, or it's Lenny. Lenny is having trend trading at 11. And then after that, we have Jared's options trading mentorship. I might actually come myself on options trading, because I also want to learn a little more on this stuff. Someone this year in the summit said, Andrew, as the leader, you gotta keep learning, because when you learn, we as a community learn. So that's very true. Like, I kind of plateaued my learning in the last couple of years. I really don't want to learn anything. I have a couple of books on, VPA and options and stuff. I never really got to read them, and I kind of, mentally I've been in a plateau or maybe in a decline too. Uh, so I need to learn. Like, even the last book that I finished was on my expedition in Choyo. Uh, was in October last year. So I haven't finished the book since that time, and it's not good at all. All right, so thanks guys on YouTube as well. We do
Yeah,
let's do
thank
the
you.
laptop tomorrow because I have to install this. I want to come to the office. I have to install this software here. It's not it didn't work on my home yesterday, and I don't have it here yet. So we'll do the laptop tomorrow. And yeah, all the best, guys. So I close my day here. It shows that yeah, here it shows yeah minus $3,000. Was good trade on Nvidia and PLTR, but Tesla really got me. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm green on the day, thankfully, to Nvidia and Tesla shorts. So yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, everybody.
All right, friends, let's log off from chat. We're gonna continue on YouTube. Paris will be on in just a second here. I see his screen's up and ready to go, and Thor will be in chat room. No, we're gonna continue. Paris is up next. Oh, look at these trades on Paris's screen. What is this? Tesla? I love you, Tesla. I love Tesla for Paris. I love Tesla for you, man. This is awesome. So great stuff there.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Uh, yeah, how is everybody on YouTube? Thank you, Carlos. I'm having FOMO right now. So I took 3 trades on Tesla. Uh, so let's see. So I took 3 trades. One is this one, this trade. This is the second trade, and this is the third trade. And 2 trades worked out really nice. So I shorted right here, added more at this point, scaled out. There was completely a lot of bottoming action going on here. And that's when I went long here, scaled out to the VWAP, added more, but stopped out break even. This was a third trade that I was thinking maybe it bounces from here, but very quickly it did not, and I got stopped out. So that's 3 trades on this thing. I literally took 1 trade on Nvidia, and this I got hesitant. I was trying to join back in the chat room, and I was like, okay. I got hesitant to. I shorted at a very good place, but I just did not like it the way it was holding. Everything was dropping, but this was holding. I was like, okay, now it's gonna squeeze to the upside. But I got stopped out at break even. Did not make any money, but it immediately worked out in my favor. So that's on Nvidia, and I also traded PLTR today. PLTR at the open, I got stopped out. So I shorted at this point, worked out really nice on the downside, pulled back. I added more when the sellers took in, but the buyers were very aggressive. I got stopped out very quickly. So this was 2 stop outs, but overall a decent day on the trading standpoint. So the reason I shorted is because of the volume. And I also, to be honest, that's a very good question. AS is that why did I short Tesla first time when there was a bullish engulfing candle? Very, very good question. And I usually trade on the side of the bullish engulfing as well. Like if I see something like this is a very strong pattern. I like to go long, and I do not like to go short. But today, There were two things that restricted me to go long and did not want me to actually because rather short it. First reason is the volume. See here, this candle is such a big, huge candle, but there was no corresponding volume towards it. That's not a squeezing candle. This candle is basically telling you that this is an anomaly. People who do not know what anomaly and what that validation is, read a book called Volume Price Analysis by Anna Coolin. Great book to understand how do you validate the price, because price and volume have to exist together. If they don't exist together, there is no value, there's no meaning. Price cannot exist by itself. A candle cannot exist by itself without the volume. So if the volume is not corresponding to the candle, that's an anomaly. That's a negative sign. That's not a positive sign. And that's the first reason why I was not biased on the short side, sorry, long side. Rather, I was more thinking that this could be just a trap and this is a pop and drop. And if I don't see the volume on the candle, don't see the volume on the time and sales, the order flow, there is no reason for me to long it. Just because it looks like long doesn't mean it's a long. You have to have multiple checks in your favor. Secondly, all the moving averages were converging on the downside. I do not like shorting or going against the moving averages. Like this is not a decision maker for me, but from one of the checklists that I have. I like to be a part of the trend. And a trend, and if the slopes is on the downside, there is going to be a lot of resistance here. I would rather wait for it to break this particular resistance and hold at this area for me to go long. So two things were actually very convincing me enough that, you know what, this is a short than not a long. And I shorted it. I wasn't very heavily convinced that it is a short because of this again squeezing candle. But every single time there was selling, there was also some very good buyers coming in. So I wasn't convinced. So I was aggressively taking partials, if you see. I was taking aggressive, like this buy at this area, 257.50 bounced to 260. Like this is a $3.50 pop, and this is again like leads to this again came with a volume too, because there were buyers trying to step up, but for some reason the sellers were taking over. So it wasn't a very clean price action, and I wouldn't blame Andrew taking a long either, because even I was thinking that it's a long. Even I was thinking that it's it was giving me indications. It wasn't giving me indications that it's a short. But after this pop dropped again very convincingly and was not willing to lift again, that's when I added more. Because now, if that, like, even after that bounce, even after multiple bounce, it's not popping up, that means it's a sell. So that's as simple as that. But you get more information as the price happens to you. You don't get a more information beforehand. So as and when the price is happening to you, you're getting more information to it. And that's the whole reason I shorted back again, even though I was aggressively taking partials, because I was thinking that it's a buy, it's not a sell. I don't think it's a sell. But then once it gave me a confirmation, okay, now I can add heavy. So this is where I can add heavy, scaled out to the downside on the second leg. Again, it was holding very much holding tightly. And this is where I like, okay, the trend is changing. This thing is again buying at these areas. I'm not convinced that this is a short. So it is trying to be around there, and I completely got out. Now at this point, this is where I was like, okay, now things are like this bounce when it breaks out above the important range area. And I'm at the pullback. I'm trying to see where the buyers are stepping in. And that's why I went long, scaled out to the profits to the VWAP. And now I'm thinking that if holds VWAP and if the SPY squeezes to the upside, in a matter of heartbeat, it would pop the high of the day. And that's why I'm holding it. I kept adding, but then I have to manage my risk. So I stopped out at break even at this area. And I tried one more time after this. Oh, now it's bouncing. I tried one more time after this for like a bounce from here, because even after a lot of selling, it wasn't dropping. So it tried popping up, but again, I'm going at the resistance. So this wasn't a great trade. I should have waited for it to bounce up and then hold it higher for me to take that trade. So immediately got out. The second I got in, I was like, okay, this is not a good trade. Same with Nvidia. I wasn't like here, I was shorting it, but the way the price action was telling me that, okay, this is a bounce, this is a pullback, this is a bounce. Ideally, I want to see it hold here and then bounce, break the high of the day. This is what I want to see. Like, this is a good price action. It's holding over the VWAP. So the meat of the move is not on the downside. It's actually more on the upside. So I think Nvidia could be a good long from here, but let's see. So now it's holding this area, which is a good area to hold, to be honest. So the SPY is also coming up. But yeah, that if that makes sense as AS. We can see a clear flat pattern and the price continuing towards the demand zone after all the orders to fill. Yeah. Thank you, Osper. Pretty fast trade to Tesla and PLTR at the open. Yeah, Glenn, my edge lies at the open. To be honest, like my edge lies in the first 1 hour of trading. That's where my edge lies. I want the price to move very quickly. I want the order flow to be as fast that people can't recognize it. It should be as fast as like, and it feels like uh it feels like a music to me when the order flow is there at the open. Like I love that order flow. So I'm thinking of taking a long on Tesla, but I'm not convinced yet. It's again trying to be below these 254.74 area. It rejected the 254, but now I think it's not dropping and it has a lot of dependency on SPY. If the SPY is continuously grinding lower, like it could give me an indication that it's a long at this area, stalls and higher, but this can actually sell off too. So there is no reason for me to actually go long here. It is just trying to convince me to just be a part of the chop. So yeah, not gonna trade here. So Guillermo, I think understand the price action first. Tape is an advanced topic. Understand where the basics of price action. One of the most basic thing people miss out on the price action is the support becomes the resistance, resistance becomes the support. As simple as that. If you can just follow that one thing of support becomes resistance and resistance becomes support, you would start making money. Even like look at this trade. You don't have to trade at this area, right? So this is the area where it broke out. This is the opening range right here. At this point, this is the opening range right here. Once it breaks out of this, you can short here. This is like once it breaks out, this is the when it breaks out the support, this becomes the resistance. So you can short here. When it breaks out this thing right here, what is the most logical way of resistance? This is the resistance. When the support breaks out, the resistance is automatic. And once this is like this breaks out, you can short the resistance, buy the support, short the resistance, buy the support. You can like literally do that all day. So you don't have to even, that price action understanding is very critical. You don't have to, those levels and at support, you to make money, you don't have to read the tape. But to make exponential money and to time your entries really well, that's where, tape will help you. So, I would recommend understand the price action first, like what the price action means. What are the different general rule of thumb of price action? There are multiple rules of price action. One of the simplest is the support and resistance, but there are a lot of other uh, uh, price action concepts. And I'm actually creating a very detailed course out of it on the basics of price action and the advance of price action. And and for everybody to have it, because that's the most basic. And once you understand the price action, that's where you would be uh, that's where you want to get exposed to tape. If you have the basics idea of a price action, that's where tape will help you. And blindly just watching the tape is not going to help you either. You need to understand the concepts too. So please understand the concepts, understand where the buyers and how to identify these red color. What does it mean? What does white color mean? What does blue color mean? What does green color mean? What does level two mean? What are the different level two with different areas? What are, the iceberg orders? What are, stacking? What does stacking mean? What does spoofing mean? How do you identify those red prints? Are they sellers or are they buyers? How do you identify them? So that's all concepts, right? If you understand those concepts, if you understand those fundamental concepts, that's where you'll be able to apply it. See, again, that buyer, that same buyer, it sold off. The support became resistance. Now it's the resistance, same area. You can just literally trade all day. They work beautifully. So, Mike Kelly, very good question. I do not get hurt because even though first of all, I don't pay commissions. The reason I'm not paying commissions is because I use the US broker Charles Schwab, and Charles Schwab doesn't have commissions. But I do pay the FINRA and the SEC fees that is applicable to everybody. People who are outside US, they would uh, uh, they would definitely be paying commissions on it. But with the size that I take, these commissions are like, because even though with IBKR, I had my account with IBKR before, and with the size I take, they're very small amount, because the IBKR is go by the tier sizing and also by the number of shares, not dependent on number of executions. So with the time, like with the brokers that have offering free commissions and very low cost commissions, there hardly any impact. Like again, if you're like trading with 100 shares or 500 shares and then expecting and taking 10 different or 15 different partials, it's it's gonna impact you in your commission somewhere. But when you're taking big size, and eventually that's very small percentage of the profits that you make. So let's see what is that 254.74 level. Let's look at the 30-minute chart. On a 30-minute chart, let's remove everything. And now let's look at this. So what I'm seeing here is, if you look here, Tesla on a 30-minute, this is the place where it, right here. This is the play. Let's go back a little bit. So yeah, so if you see here, what I'm seeing is this area right here where it bounced from. This was the area that it bounced. And then when it came back to this area, it rejected the same area. And then what is the simple rule of concept is that once the support gets broken, at this point, it becomes the resistance, and then it sold off from here. And that was the level that I was looking for this area. This is the area right here. Yeah, 254.79. So basically when I plot the lines from a 30-minute chart, those are much more valuable. I draw two lines for it. If you see a blue line on this thing, then that means that I drew it from the daily. And if it's from a 5-minute or a 1-minute, I draw it just one line, one line like this. So what does this mean is the daily level is the most important level, then the 30-minute level, and the one line is the least important level. So I don't give a lot of value, but I can take decisions based on the 30-minute and a daily. So Mike Kelly, Charles Schwab, Thinkorswim is a slow platform for day trading. But if you are configuring it with the DAS, it's as good as IBKR. I think sometimes it's even better with IBKR. So uh, with Thinkorswim, I do not recommend day trading because it's very bad falls, very delayed data. But with DAS, it works perfectly. So DAS has an option to connect your broker uh, with Charles Schwab. So Daniel, my risk reward ratio, I'll usually cover my first exit. My first partial will always be either 1 hour or 1:2 hour. So here I was shorting 262. This was literally at the exact same area where there was a support. See the pre-market, it supported exactly at this area. And I was finding, okay, at this 262, if it left the 263, I'm gonna be stopped out. So that's what I'm giving a $1 risk on a stock like Tesla, and I'm getting out at 259, which is close to a 3 hour move. Ideally, like I'm risking $1 and my first exit is at 3 hour, and then I'm scaling out on it. But usually this is the place where I waited more because the fact that if this comes below revap, all the buyers are trapped. And I was thinking that it can squeeze to the downside very quickly. The buyers get trapped. The Andrew got trapped too. And if that can happen, the more and more lower it gets, the better chances it to flush very quickly. And that's why I waited a little more because if it falls below, all the buyers will have to get out, will move the price down further quickly. So that's why I waited to 1:3 hour, 1:4 hour. But I usually get my first exit is usually 1:2 hour minimum. Ah, Peter. He is back with AMD. So Timo, I think good question. I think you need to work with IBKR to have a real-time data. Again, if you IBKR, if you're using TWS, again, that system is slow. It's not as quick as DAS. So you definitely want to invest in your platform, the right platform that you use, because it's a very small amount of, you can make that money in one trade. Like, and even though you are taking small spice, you have to, it's the investment that you're making on the right technology. So you have to take a call. Like, and one of the best decisions that I made when I was even starting making $5 a day was like I was spending 150 a month to learn on the right tool. So Shiva Kiran, Reddy, I wish there was a book for tape reading. The whole reason tape reading doesn't have a book, there are multiple tape readings which like couple of books have no zero value to it. The reason is because tape reading is all about reading the order flow. The order flow that is flowing in front of you and the level 2 that is coming in. A book cannot put those things in the continuous order flow in the book and then do it. You need real video translation and then real time understanding of what these concepts are and what does it look like when you see it. So that's the whole reason you won't see a lot of books on tape reading, and even though the ones that exist are have zero value, I would say. So if you want to get exposed to what tape reading is, you can check out the course that I have on Trading Terminal. And I'm not selling you anything. Check that out. Go through the initial basic webinars that I see, and if you see a value in it, go and try that out and see if that works for you. For me, it was a game-changing edge, but if something is of a value, I would definitely want you to try it and see, because it's a huge edge. US is the only market that allows displays the order flow and level two. No other markets give you that access. So if you have that access, utilize in a very efficient manner. So SIS. So what is AMD? Let's look at AMD, guys. Peter is very excited. What are we talking about? So AMD, wow. Where did Peter shot? Still in. I entered at 934. 934. 92 or something. And added at 1028. Wow. Beauty, Peter. That's that is amazing. Wow. Now still in it. Wow. Love you, Peter. Love you. So, how much does charge? So SIS, check out their website. The and If you go through Bayable Traders, you get additional benefit too. So check that out on what that is. I'm not 100% sure. So if you go to dashtrader.com and you go to subscribe, there's a subscribe button right here. If I go on a subscribe, and it gives you an option of you can connect it with Charles Schwab, IB Live, or Real Time Simulator. And you can just connect it with Charles Schwab right here, and then you can follow and I basically trade through a LLC. So for me, the charges are different for level like this one at this point. So I usually pay around $350 a month on this. And I was like, the prices have changed now. I pretty much get everything with 350. But non-professional, you can check out. I think it's 150 or 175 for all the data that you want. So check that out, dashtrader.com. What did I do? Where did my chart go? I messed around with a little bit and then my chart went away. Let me close the platform and open again. Okay, so now the platform is open. Oh, Tesla is breaking the low of the days, guys. So Ant-Man, I'm not sure if you joined late, but I literally explained in a very much detail on why I shot it at that area. Yeah, Matt drops. Yeah, if that works for you, like TradeStation, go for it. Like if that's something that, yeah, if you're getting the fast executions, free and no commission, go for it. You don't have to go with DAS. But if you're getting all the fast executions and everything that you're looking for, uh, and if it's free, yeah, check that out. And people who want to try out TradeStation, yeah, you can watch the YouTube live after the YouTube is closed. Uh, Isaias Velasquez, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. What was the hardest thing for you at the beginning of your career? So, uh, I think as a trading career journey, you go through a lot of demons. You go through a lot of like the emotion from the emotional standpoint. Uh, you go through a lot of emotions, and those emotions you won't even believe or would never think that those would exist. Like a lot of times, I coming from a very successful, uh, IT career. I was in a corporate world. Coming from a very successful career, you think that, trading is gonna be easy because you have performed so well over the years and have been successful in that. Why not trading? And there were quite a few things. First was that one of the struggles that I had was if I was spending money, I need to make money. Like if I was spending time, I need to make money. Like in corporate job, right? You get paid for the amount of time you spend on a day. Trading is not that. One of the hardest thing was to believe that trading is not gonna give you just because you spend money, or the more time you spend on trading, the more money you're gonna make. The more trades you wanna take is gonna make more money to you. No. And once I overcame that, then I was in a different challenge. One of the hardest thing for me to accept that I can make that kind of a money in a short period of time. Like I felt I was making, 3-4 grand a day, and then I would start believing that how, like in a day, not even a day, like in like 5 or 10 minutes, and then I would feel like I don't deserve it. Like this is the money I would make in like a fortnight or something. And I would feel that I don't deserve it in like 5 minutes. Then I would start giving back that money. So I even had to work with a psychologist to be able to come to a conclusion that I deserve that money that I'm making in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And it took me a lot of time. So, uh, and a lot of other struggles that every other trader goes through: the over trading, the revenge trading, the, uh, the what do you call Hulk mode. You are down in certain point, and then you try to make back everything all at once in one single trade. How many times I've been there, I have no idea. But you go through it. Until you go through it, you won't realize that uh thing. One thing that I've never struggled so far, touch wood, I have never struggled uh with is taking a stop out. It could be the other way around. I sometimes take stop out too early, but I've never struggled. Like irrespective what my position is, irrespective if like I am perfectly fine accepting that I'm wrong. So it's uh and I always believe that I can always get back in. And maybe that was the biggest reason I could survive this thing. When you try to become very stubborn and very trying to become very egoistic about a specific trade, you tend to hold on to a position and then you blow out. And the whole reason I was losing money consistently in the starting of my career, but I never blew up like crazy. Of course, like for example, I had a $35,000 account. It went below $25,000 account, so it could mean a blow up, but it wasn't that big of a deal with the amount that like I was making in a corporate job. So I never like blew up to the point where I cannot start again. So and I was always taking. I never had hesitation to you know. Uh, Never had hesitation to get stopped out except for one time. And one time was that point where I was trading a low float stock back when I was making like $500 a day, $600 a day. And uh, I was in a low float stock, very heavy size. In a matter of heartbeat, I was down close to $23,000 in a matter of heartbeat. Like it was popping up, popping up, popping up, and second, boom. And that's why Andrew was mentioning about today, risk management on a low float stock is everybody knows how to make money, but risk management is what is gonna keep you into the game. And I was down 23K, and I did not like I got stuck. Like I was so my hands got like my hands froze. I don't know what to do. But then I again took the loss, but that was one time when I was like, fuck, I like gone. Where did I learn from the tape? From a 8-figure hedge fund trader. Who happens to be my cousin. So guys, today at 5 p.m. EST, join Megan. Join Megan for a session. No. SMB is very famous because of their YouTube channel and everything, but there's much, much bigger firms than SMB, guys. Everybody like is into SMB because of course they are very open and very YouTube, and I like very respected prop firm, but they're much, much bigger prop firms than SMB. Oh, thank you, Tiger. Yeah, I'm games. Low floats are good until they punch you on the face. So what is AMD? AMD doing? Peter, you are in the boat of just. So now how much is SPY? I would not be surprised if SPY gives all the gains back that they made yesterday. Sunny. To be honest, I did not even know that he was a active trader. I knew he was working for a hedge fund or something, but I did not know he was a he was that big until he taught me that. I used to feel like he's such an idiot, but then when he taught me, it's like I like huge respect for him. Nothing. Yeah, I'm not gonna trade anymore, guys. I think I'm done. Nothing crazy. Today was one of those days as well. I think SPY is now selling off, and this can sell off all day, to be honest. Um, yeah, it eventually took some time. Apple is selling off too. Yeah, that's an inside day. It would try to like sell off maybe. What is SPY doing? Let's talk about SPY. Yeah, SPY gap down, now selling off. I don't think it will give back all the gains today, but maybe hold at 510, come back to 500 again, and then hold the 500 490 area for a little bit. But that was a like this move on SPY, guys. I haven't seen that kind of a move in my life. I don't think this is this move. And I did not capture it either because it happened outside after 12, and I don't usually trade after 12. So, and that news came in. I was trading Nvidia. That news came in literally after like this area, 1 p.m. Wow. Yeah, that move was. But what a game! What a game! Like it is a very clear way of yeah, what a strategy, man. Like I was thinking about it. Like let's keep the Trump aside, let's keep the Democrats and the Republicans aside. Okay. Let's think about what US did. Okay. US put up all the tariffs all across the world. They figured out two things. First is who are their allies, who are their this thing, and that there are a lot of people who are trying to make a deal, they're trying to people, and a lot of people that they were not, the US was not, uh, you know, the tariff was not like, what do you call, what not the same tariff. Sometimes there were zero tariffs from the other countries, but US still applied 10%. And there were peoples from across the world who were trying to make a deal with US. The only country that retaliated was China, and US has the biggest surplus of Chinese goods that's happening, and US already knew that China is gonna retaliate. They are in that situation that they will retaliate, but the other, you know, uh, so they what they did, there was a very common setting of apply or giving, they increasing the tariffs on the countries, and a lot of countries came back trying to make a deal, and what the US did was, now what is happening is that Europe is eventually, in a very short period of time, Europe will find an alternative. All the EU, the different continents, Australia, different India, all the other Asian countries are trying to find an alternative and trying to see, and China could be using that as an opportunity to, you know, or to supply all the, or get an exposure to a different markets altogether, right? China would be thinking that this is the best opportunity because US has gone against all the countries. Let's do this. And what US does the next day, or in the next thing, he creates that thing of uncertainty, and then China retaliates back, except for all the other countries. No other countries is retaliating as big as China. And then US completely wipes out all the tariffs for all the other countries but China. So, like, what a game! What a game of uh trying to put China at the corner. Now China cannot, like, they're already European and everybody is trying, like, now US is the allies and everything. Everybody is still with the US because again the tariff hasn't been applied. The whole intention of US putting all the tariffs for all the other countries was just to put China in the corner. Um, wow, I don't know, like, how did they strategize that? Uh, yeah, and years over years, whenever things have gone like this, right? The tariffs and like China, US is a Chinese, like, very dependent on China, right? But if you always, whenever things of these happen, the countries have always found a sustainable way to live with it. Like everywhere you see, everybody is trying to be self-sustainable. So the goods that are coming up from China, people think that it's going to increase the inflation, and of course there would be a limit short-term inflation to it, but there are two things that happen. Whenever, let us say, whenever there is a recession, whenever there is something that is, the spending goes lower, right? People are spending only on the basic necessity stuff. They're not spending on the additional expense, like the goods that are coming up from China. There, a lot of those goods are actually the clothings, the there are some, the major technology advancement or the major things, major things that is US is leading, for example, the AI, example, the semiconductors, they're all occurring in US. The things that are offshored are the ones where uh, it's not dependent on the major what do you call advancement in technology. And those goods, people would eventually adapt. Like instead of buying 10 shirts or 10 clothing, they would buy one and use it. The expense for buying a t-shirt or a good or something, that would, you know, people would start adopting it because of the limited availability it has. So, I'm not against anything and the positive and the negative thing, but it's amazing to see how, you know, beautifully this thing occurred, right? How things like how like I would I have seen something like this in like people around me where people like trying to play games and then put one person at the corner. But I never saw something like this uh in countries happening like this. So the whole intention of US was to put China in the corner, not to put tariffs on the other countries. Because but yeah, it's yeah, and those basic essentials you'll be able to survive without it, except for few things that China has like surplus on, uh like few rare materials like the that are used for the what do you call for the EV industry, the minerals and the materials. What does retrofitting mean? Rare metals, yeah. Yeah, now things are selling off again. Yeah. Peter, tell me you are still there. Man, Tesla is selling off. I did not think Tesla would sell off like this. But now, yeah, of course, the things are selling off back to 250, below 250 now. What a market, guys. Closes at 27, like yesterday is 225 to 270, which is 45, yeah, 45-point move. Now it's back down. And this could be just be a pullback, to be honest. So 270 to 250 to 45. Yeah, this could be just be a pullback right here. Hold 245 and then eventually hold here at 245 value area and then decide to go and break the 270 again. Or if it breaks below 245, around 240 area at this point, and then breaks below 220, which was a very important daily level. That's how I would play from a day trading standpoint and see what the price action is doing. But very good selling at 250. Yeah, the same area, 250, 254, 74, or 255 area. Nvidia is selling off too. Nvidia sold off too. Very nice. Yeah, even though I would have held this one, I would have stopped out at break even. So, but this was a win when it drops like this. Holds like this is a good shot. Holds here. Very nice consolidation. And then breaks off like, yeah, now this is some news activity or something. The aggressive selling is taking place. So AS, I'm not like in this is not the market to have a bias. This can go either ways. There are times when like the earning season would start and have some reportings being done. Then I'll start having the bias, but this is not the market to have a bias. You can trade either sides and you'll make money. Nice, Mr. ARV. Did you take that trade? Oh, earning season is gonna start, right? Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually traveling in the middle of the earning season. Going to Europe. Yeah, what is Baba doing? Let's see what Baba is. Baba is selling off too. Baba was actually one of those stocks that was actually gapping up today. Even after that bounce yesterday, it was actually gapping up. I was thinking it would go long. Francis. What a drop, guys. This is aggressive drop. I don't know what the news is, but SPY is giving back yesterday's gains. I don't know if there's any trade in there. Like these are the ones that and this turned out to be a really good trade, to be honest. Like people who shorted at the VWAP pulled back and very nice to the downside. Now there is absolutely expecting a bounce. Ruth Reyes. Yeah, manage your risk, Ruth. These things can go much lower than you anticipate. Not never a good idea to hold and hoping for the and praying for things to happen. The amount of mental capital you lose because of that and being in that stress, not worth it. MRVL. What is MRVL doing? Oh, wow. How do you find these stocks? It's very similar to SPY, to be honest, but uh, short from 56. Okay, guys, let's wrap it up. I think there's not much going on. Okay, guys, have a great rest of the day. See you guys tomorrow.